Hello. Welcome back, everybody, to the Dog Cooking Show, to the Dog Cooking Stream. I hope you've all been having a lovely Friday. I looked to my side as though I had a calendar, but I just wanted to look away and figure it out for the moment. Hi, happy Friday. If you're currently watching this live, it is 5 p.m. EST. Hello. I hope you've all been well. I see that we have all of my lovely sous chefs in the chat. I see Jack, I see Kitsune, I see Trash Can Cat Mom. Hello to Serena, hello to Liam, hello to Dosky, hello to Braven, hello to Blobfish. Hi. It's good to have all of you. I missed all of you so much. I see that all of you are enjoying my new emote today. So I'm glad that it does the job. I see that you're all casting spells with it in chat. Hello to XX Girlfriend. Hello to Nicholas Keeley. Hello. And also to Jivjov. Is that how I say it? And to Dosky. I don't know if I said hi to Dosky yet. Also to Moonhunt and to John Dahlia. So, everybody, we have a lot to do today. Today's going to be a busy stream. We're going to be busy. We got a lot to do. We got a lot to handle at all times for today. So I just want to make sure that you're all tapped in and ready to go. Welcome on in. Just some guy who is here. Hello to Laylo Swit. Welcome on in. Is this your first time here? Lovely to have you. So, my friends, today we're doing something in an attempt to get rid of some of the stuff in my fridge. Also, thank you so much to Zenultra for the sub. Thank you. We already have a hype train. We're like a few minutes into the stream. We got a hype train going. That's pretty crazy. Guys, we're going to be doing today a chorizo baked pasta with a spicy tomato sauce. Now, if you're thinking about it, you're thinking about this Mexican chorizo that I have, you're thinking about the cilantro that I'll be using for it, and you're thinking, oh, Daramgar, these don't sound like Italian ingredients. Well, they're not. I'm using the things that I have in my fridge, the things that I want to get rid of, and I love doing like baked pastas with a lot of Mexican ingredients. I wouldn't go so as far to be like, oh, this is a fusion, because I think calling it fusion is pretty cringe. If you ask me. But this is more like, hey, I'm taking the techniques out of a baked pasta. Also, Braven, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you. I'm taking the techniques from a baked pasta and I'm just sort of applying it to Mexican ingredients because, hey, I had it in my fridge and I wanted to get rid of it. Also, as an ultra, that's very sweet. I'm happy that you're here. Well, welcome on in. Welcome to the show. So, today, we're going to be using a little bit of ziti, specifically ziti rigati. You can use any kind of pasta that you would like for this. Just think about the kind of pasta that you want for the baked pasta. So I think penne, I think ziti, I think shells, I think bow ties. Those are the kinds of pastas that I really think about. Something that's not like too long, right? We're not talking spaghetti, we're not talking tagliatelle, we're not talking pappardelle, we're not talking fettuccine. I love having, just like short tubular pasta. Anytime I'm doing any kind of baked pasta dishes. So welcome on in, P1 Angel and Water Spirit. Hello, Gigi. Lovely to have you. But yes, so the shape of the pasta, theoretically, you can do any kind of pasta that you would want for this, but these are my sort of preferences. I like the texture on the ziti, right? Especially because it has you can see that it has like all these little grooves on the outside, right? It helps to catch the sauce and stuff, but also the hole on the inside helps to really catch and pick up the sauce. Okay, and now I have this big amalgamation, this big collection of all of these lovely vegetables, pretty colors. So, for the sauce today that we're going to be doing a spicy tomato sauce. I have a bunch of these chilies that I wanted to use up. I have like these red chilies. I think these are bird's eyes. I wanted to use them up, add like a really nice heat into the pasta sauce. I'm going to be using a bunch of plum tomatoes. You can use theoretically any kind of tomato. Also, Dosky, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Thank you. It's very sweet of you too. We have a bunch of plum tomatoes. Plum tomatoes lend themselves super nicely to a sauce because they have a lot of flesh and not a lot of liquid. And also they're really cheap. But theoretically, you can use any kind of tomatoes that you want for your sauce. These cherry tomatoes are going to be used for the salad today. But plum tomatoes, vine tomatoes, even beefsteak tomatoes, just the general rule of thumb is the bigger the tomato, the more water to flesh ratio it has. Plum tomatoes are very nice because they're both pretty affordable. And they don't have that much liquid in them compared to, say, something like a beefsteak tomato. This bell pepper is going to go towards the salad today, and then these cherry tomatoes as well. Originally, I was planning on using these for the ziti itself, but then I realized my cucumber that I wanted to use for the salad had actually already gone bad. It's gone bad, and so I'm just going to be making a tomato and bell pepper salad. Okay, What was the other thing that we wanted to get rid of, my friends? We have some chorizo. We have some excellent chorizo from my local Latin supermarket, my local Mexican supermarket. This stuff is going to be fried up. It's going to be in there with the ziti, in there with the sauce. It's going to give all of its beautiful fat into the sauce, into the dish itself. And so again, this isn't authentic Italian, right? We are using a lot of different Mexican ingredients, especially because in my tomato sauce, what I really wanted to do was also have, I have all of this excess cilantro that I wanted to use up as well. And so that's exactly what we'll be doing. I don't want the cilantro to go bad, so I'm going to integrate into the sauce. So think of all of these flavors. Think about the chorizo, think about the chilies, think about the cilantro, all in a tomato sauce made into a baked pasta. In my fridge, I also have a nice big block of mozzarella cheese that we'll be using for today. Guys, today's gonna go kind of crazy. Today's gonna be kind of insane. Think of all the different flavors. Think of all the different aromatics that we have today. Also, the cucumber is not accurate on exclamation mark menu. I didn't update that in time. Okay, so that's all of that. We have a little bit of oregano as well. Oregano is really, really nice because it's also like something that you feel in both quite a bit of Italian and in quite a bit of Mexican cooking as well. Right? It's an herb that's kind of used globally. And then I have 2 old stale pieces of bread. Remember when we did the grilled cheeses? Well, by now, my lovely sandwich bread is now nice and stale. So you know what that means? We're gonna make some croutons. We're gonna make some croutons for the salad today. I'm going to show you how to bake it up really, really nice and easy. This is my favorite way of using up excess bread. And honestly, homemade croutons, they're so easy to make. They're a really nice, cheap way of using it up. And they're so much better than store-bought bagged croutons. Store-bought bagged croutons, if you remember from my last stream, I mean, they're atrocious. These are so easy. These are so cheap to do. Everybody, that's you. I'm talking about you. Everybody should be doing homemade croutons. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. Please and thank you. Some mustard sandwiches on Endless. I'm not planning any mustard sandwiches anytime soon. So we have a lot that we need to do today. We have a lot that we need to get done today. We're going to be busy today. For those of you that have not already done so, please, if you would like to support the stream, if you would like to support the cooking show, please check out my Patreon. You can type in exclamation mark Patreon in the chat. You can just scroll down below. You can go into the About section because I would like to keep this free for everybody to watch. So if you have some extra pocket change, it would go a long way. Alternatively, a sub or exclamation mark tip or donate. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, Serena, thank you. I'm really excited about it. Also, hello to the morgue. How was work? My first day of work was yesterday, guys. I started my job as a cooking teacher. I started my job as a cooking teacher at a nonprofit for both kids and adults with special needs. It was pretty amazing. It was really cool. I'm not going to talk about it too much today because I also don't want to reveal too much personal info, but it was pretty special. I was really, really happy about it. It's really like meaningful work too. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and begin. We need to make this sauce. The sauce needs time to cook. The number one mistake. So, everybody, I have a question for all of you right now. How many of you have seen a recipe for a tomato sauce where people say, oh, if it's not sweet enough, add sugar? How many of you have seen a recipe like that, especially like if it's an American or British recipe? How many of you have seen that? It is an absolute failure. I'm going to say it right now. It is an absolute failure if you feel like you need to add sugar into your tomato sauces. If your tomato sauces feel like they're not sweet enough, you didn't cook it long enough. And so that's why we need to make this happen now. We should have been starting this 5 minutes ago. Okay? So if your tomato sauces are too acidic and they don't feel like they're sweet enough, you did not cook it enough. It doesn't matter how good your tomatoes are. Sometimes they can be excellent tomatoes and just still not completely sweet. So let's go ahead and begin, everybody. Here's what we're going to do. We have chorizo. And you know what's the beauty of chorizo? You know what's one of the most wonderful things about actually having chorizo in a home setting is that we have all of its fat. All that fat from the chorizo is then, all the fat and all the spices that are in the chorizo are going to go into our tomato sauce today. So we gotta cut up some chorizo, we gotta cut up some garlic, we gotta cut up some tomato. Yeah, it's gonna be excellent. So I'm gloving up at the moment. Lovely. Wait, what happened? I don't know what happened in chat. Gloved up. Let's go ahead and just get slicing with the chorizo, my friends. So this is going to be going into a baked pasta. This is going to be the solids in your baked pasta. You do not want these to be too big and you don't want them to be too small. Think about the intentions. If you want to take off the wrapping off your sausage, that's also really, really good. If you just want to like crumble it up and not really feel the pieces. For me, my intention today My intention today is to have little teeny tiny coins that are basically the same size as my pasta food today. Okay, because I want to feel it. I want to be able to bite into the sausage. I want to be able to really, really feel that chew from it as well. So we're going to extract some of the fat. We're not going to overcook the sausage. We're going to extract some of the fat so that we can then cook the onions and everything else in them. And then we'll save the pieces for the actual, baked pasta. So let's go ahead. Again, a really nice quality chorizo. Use the best sausage that you can find. I'm going for nice, thin coins today. Because again, I want this to have the same chew and the same size as my pasta. Okay, so think about whatever pasta that you're using today and try to go for something similar to that. You don't want really massive pieces of sausage. Okay, can I please get a yes, chef, from everybody watching? Also, hello to Daramgar. And of course, if anybody has any questions about this dish or any other dish, I would love for you to ask me. I'm here to help you all learn how to cook. So just slicing up my chorizo, slicing it up. And so today we're going to be multitasking a little bit more than usual just because we have so much that we actively need to get done. Normally I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to take our time with the prep. We have a lot that we need to do for today. Okay, these bad boys, got to make sure, again, I'm just cutting them up nice and thin. But look at this nice, beautiful stack of chorizo that we have here. Look at the color. Look at all that fat. You see all of this fat? All of that fat is going to go into today's tomato sauce. It's going to help make it nice and rich, nice and decadent. We're going to substitute a little bit of extra like olive oil with it as well, or supplement it rather. Okay, but again, I'm looking for nice, thin coins. Different dish question, chef. How big would you make the potato and chicken chunks in Japanese curry? The morgue? I would make them as big or as little as you want. That is an entirely preferential question. Me personally, I love massive chunks of potato in my Japanese curries. I love being able to bite into like a half potato because I just think it's really, really fun. And when they're really big, they don't fall apart as easily. So I would say big chunks, but the chicken I like in thinner strips. But that's up to you though. At the end of the day, it's your kitchen. There's no right or wrong way to do it as long as you don't overcook it. All right, guys. We got the coins. We got it happening. We have 1.5 things of chorizo here. A little bit of hair got into my nose and made a little bit itchy. Ow. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this over onto my sheet tray just to hold on to it for a little bit. Just get this off my cutting board. You guys might not know this right now, but my nose is itching so badly and I have contaminated gloves on. I am suffering. I am absolutely suffering at this moment. Okay, so all of my chorizo onto my sheet tray it goes. And then I'm going to take off my gloves. And then, guys, we're immediately going to be heading on over to the stove. Because again, I'm on a bit of a time schedule today. The sauce is going to take a while. We need to get started with the chorizo now. Okay? So let's go ahead and we're going to go on over to the stove. Everybody, I have my nice Mavier big saucepan. I guess it's like a sauce pot at that point. We're going to turn it on to a medium flame. We don't want a massive, massive heat for today's chorizo. Because again, if we overcook the outside, we're not going to be able to extract that fat in time. We want to just be able to slowly cook it, get a little bit of color on it, but really, really, really just get all that fat out so that we can then cook the onions in it. We're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil just to get it going. Okay? Just to help, just to give a little bit of help. I don't want to start it off on a completely naked piece of metal because then it's just going to immediately stick. Okay. Guys, this one piece of hair has been on my face and I have been losing my mind. We're gonna get the chorizo from, this has been from my local Mexican supermarket. It's a really, really good place. I love it. I like this little, Mexican grocery store near me and they have incredible products. Okay, so while all that's happening, and typically, everybody do as I say, but not as I do, okay? Typically, I make sure to do all of my prep before I actually begin cooking something onto the stove. We have so much that we need to get done today that I'm gonna be juggling a couple of things at the same time because I got something to do later. So in the meantime, let's head back on over to the cutting board. I'm going to grab my wooden cutting board for this. There you go. Excellent. And again, we're not looking for this oil to get smoking hot. We just want it to become hot enough that the meat doesn't immediately stick to the bottom. But if it's too hot, we're going to just end up scorching the sausage a little bit too early. Okay, so here's what we gotta do. we have 1 small onion. Traditionally, in Italian tomato sauces, everybody take notes right now. In Italian tomato sauces, you see people put in like a quarter of an onion, put it in, and then take it out. I think that's stupid. Use a very small onion, but you want to chop. Watch it. I don't know why my camera just freaked out. You want to make sure that you're chopping it really finely. I don't want to bite into a piece of onion in my tomato sauce. I want the onion to melt in, contribute that sweetness, get that beautiful alliuminess into the whole dish. Okay? So, that sausage, by the way, is chorizo. It's a really good quality Mexican chorizo. Also, Gigi, thank you so much for the sub. So, everybody, again, we're not looking for this oil to get smoking hot. We're not looking for it to get really, really hot or anything. We're just looking for it to heat up enough that the meat won't immediately stick, but we don't want to sear that meat. We want to slowly but surely render the fat out of it. The biggest mistake that we can make is put the chorizo in and immediately stir it. What I would really want all of you to do when you're cooking sausage like this, I want you to put it in, basically leave it alone for 45 seconds to a minute, and then stir it around. Okay, so we're distributing the fat. We're making sure that it's all nice and around. It's not smoking, but it's also not completely cold. And now, I'm going to go in, I'm just setting up a little coaster plate. I'm going to go in with all of my chorizo. And if you feel like the bottom of the pan is too crowded, we can just do this in 2 batches, but it's gonna be fine. So you hear that? We have a light sizzle, my friends. That's exactly what you're looking for. A light sizzle, nothing less and nothing more at the moment. Okay? So just get it all in there, get it all into the pot. Awesome. And I had this chorizo, by the way, air drying on the sheet tray for a couple of days, so that the outside of it isn't like too wet or anything. So just stir it around, make sure, you know, it's fairly evenly distributed. And now, just leave it alone. Everybody, leave that pan alone. We're going to distribute it in time. We're going to make sure that all of them get, you know, nicely colored and stuff. But right now, you just want to leave it alone for around 45 seconds to a minute or so. Okay? So my sheet tray with my wire rack, into my dishwasher she goes. Excellent. Beautiful. Okay. Does it not go off if you leave it in the air? Wait, Kitsune, I'm not sure what you're asking me. So, yeah, we left it alone for like a second or so. And you can see that none of my chorizo is really like sticking to the bottom or anything. So just give it a nice little distribution. I could have probably done this in 2 batches ideally. I'm just trying to like break up the clusters a little bit. Make sure that they're all out of their respective cliques. I want them to socialize. Okay, lovely. And we're just letting that cook, everybody. We're letting that cook medium and slow. I do not want to see you using a high heat. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. That's you. I'm talking about you. Even if you're new, even if you haven't chatted, I want to hear yes, chef. Okay. So, let's head back here. We have a tiny onion, a tiny little baby onion. We're going to cut the head of it off. Guys, I am looking for a fine mince on this onion. Because again, I want my onion to melt in. The size of the onion in which you cut it is essential. The finer you cut it, the more it actually melts in and contributes its oniony quality into the whole dish. I just cut off the dirty end of the root, but I'm still keeping the root intact. And now, we're just going ahead and we're peeling off the skin. I'm getting my thumb under the skin or so, and then I'm just peeling it back until all that skin comes nicely and beautifully off. So we're giving it a second. We're giving the chorizo a little bit of time to chill out. And also, remember, with seasoned sausages like a chorizo, because of how many spices they have in them, if your heat is too high, you could end up burning the spices before the meat is cooked. The key, again and again, will always be a medium heat. Not everything in the kitchen has to be done over a high heat. So I'm just going to give this a little stir. Oh, yeah. Oh, that is a big, beautiful pan of chorizo, my friends. Oh, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Okay. So, we're going for the fine mince here. And what I mean is, I want to see you fan this out. We're going to cut all the way down, but not to the root end of the onion itself. And we're fanning it out, we're fanning it out, we're fanning it out, fanning it out, fanning it out. We're making a delicate, petite, little onion fan. Okay? That's what we're doing here. All attached by the base of the onion. Take a look. You see that? That's what I call a fanned out onion. Okay? Now let's go ahead and do that with the other side, or the other half rather. You know, everybody keeps making fun of me for having like my hair down when I cook. I look nice, but man, it is annoying. Okay, beautifully fanned out onions. I'm just giving my chorizo another stir. And you can see, everybody, I want to show you right now. Take a look at what's happening. Go to the stove, take a look. You can see the chorizo has released so much of its own beautiful fat at this stage. That's that chorizo fat. That's that delicious pork fat. So this tomato sauce is not just going to be based in olive oil. This tomato sauce is also going to be based in that gorgeous chorizo fat, full of the spices, stained. Look at that fat. Look at it. It's basically, you know, I'm going to misuse the word confit, but it is almost confit in its own fat. It's cooking in its own fat. Although the temperature is technically too high for it to be a confit. You know what I mean. Okay, and now everybody, we're looking for a very fine slice here. Fine mince, okay? I want to basically be able to see through each of these onion halves. And once again, if you like the show, if you like what we're doing here, if you want to support what we're doing, type an exclamation mark Patreon, scroll down, go into the about section, because I want to just continue to teach you all how to cook. All right. Onion, take a look. Nice, beautiful, little teeny tiny fine mince on this bad boy. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and get a transfer plate over. I just want a nice separate plate or bowl where we can put it into when we're ready to take it away. Actually, I got one right here. Ooh, Tarina, that is a lovely question for chat. So, take your bench scraper. I love having this tool, one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. I think everybody should have a bench scraper at home. And then we can also use this to clean up the onion peels. Okay, once again, we're just going through and processing and processing and processing, slicing all of it up, getting it done. There you go. Okay, everybody, let's give that chorizo another stir, because remember, it's filled with spices. It can burn at any moment if you let it, so we do not leave that chorizo unattended or by itself. That's what I'm talking about. Beautiful. Guys, take a look. Take a look. Look at the stove. Look at that chorizo. Look at all of that beautiful fat. That's not clear fat. That is beautiful, stained, delicious orange fat. All from the spices, all from the pork fat. Isn't it gorgeous? I think it's pretty beautiful. I think, to me, also, the chorizo show is having fun. I think, to me, one of the most beautiful things in cooking is seeing like the fat rendered out of something, and then you just see it stained with all of that flavor, with all of those different spices. I mean, it actually, genuinely, just looks beautiful, doesn't it? In its own little way. Look at it go. And again, the goal, we're not going to like overcook this chorizo too much, because we don't want to like burn the stuff on the bottom. So you can see like the bottom is starting to get like a little bit darker. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to mix this around. This needs, you know, another couple seconds or so. And then we want to make sure that we have a nice plate to then take it out of. We want to keep as much of that fat on the pan as possible, because we want to cook the onions, we want to cook the garlic, we want to cook the chilies in there. Okay, so I'm just going to get a plate ready for it in just a second. Lovely. Oh, look at that chorizo. And guys, the smell just immediately floods your kitchen. It is gorgeous. And by the way, this is why you need to have a pan that is suited to the size of the food that you're cooking in. The size of your pan matters. Everybody take notes. If your pan is too small, as in there's not enough surface area on the bottom for all the chorizo to brown, you're going to have some of the chorizo steaming instead of frying. If your pan is too wide, what's going to happen is the chorizo is going to release its fat, but it's not going to be submerged into fat. The spices on the bottom are going to brown. The bottom is going to get a little bit too brown too quickly. Medium and slow, and you have to have a nice, nicely sized pan. Also, every time that I start my streams, we have a delivery person come in every single time. Okay, guys, I am now going to go ahead and remove my chorizo. I'm going to be using a spider. Okay. Just to be able to go ahead and scoop everything off. And you can see all that fond on the bottom. I'm using a spider, basically a strainer on a stick, so that it can keep all of that fat just still left over in the pan. Okay, beautiful. Nice. Look at all of that fat. Look at all of that delicious fat. A little bit of olive oil, and then the chorizo fat itself. Having that blend of fats just adds in so much extra flavor, everybody. It just gives you so much dimension to your food. You don't need just olive oil, you don't need just chorizo fat, but they come together and they really just become a greater sum of their parts. Okay, so that has now been done. The chorizo has been removed, and now before the bottom of the pan gets a little bit too dark, we're going to go ahead and cook all of the onions in here. Get all the onions in there. The onions are going to release a little bit of liquid, which will help deglaze the bottom. And now the onions, they're almost deep frying in this quantity of fat. Ooh, I see a little bit of chorizo that we forgot about. And now I'm just going to grab a separate spoon, another wooden spoon here. And we're just going to try and scrape up the bottom, because all of the fond, all of the dissolved proteins from the chorizo, they've stuck to the bottom, because meat releases liquid as it cooks. The liquid carries with it certain proteins, and then the proteins, as the water evaporates, stick to the bottom. And so the goal is to scrape them up and use the natural liquid released by the onions to just help soak it up, to help distribute it, and just to stop it from sticking and burning onto the bottom. Do all of you understand? Beautiful. Guys, look at these onions. And now you want a really low heat. You want a super, super low heat, because these onions are covered in oil. If we step away on a medium or a high heat, all of that onion is just going to end up burning. Okay, we got to move fast. Chat, we got to move fast. We got a lot to do. Now, time to get a couple of garlic cloves nicely pressed. I want a delicious, perfectly seasoned tomato sauce. And for me, I want that like American tomato sauce that has so much garlic in it. So we're doing for this amount, I mean, it's not that much. It's only like 4 cloves of garlic or so. We give it a little smash just to be able to help peel it. Excellent. Excellent. We got to move fast so that those onions do not burn. We give them a press, and now I'm just going to come back on over. Remember, I want you to get all of you prep done in advance. Do as I say, not as I do for today. We should not be juggling, mincing garlic, and then cooking things on the stove simultaneously. This is not good form. I just have a little bit of time to save today. Do as I say, not as I do, okay? Let's go ahead and get rid of all of the skin. It is just one of those days. It happens, right? Sometimes life hits you. If you can't avoid it, avoid it. Okay. Awesome. And now we're just going to cut off the butts of the garlic. These like dried off root ends. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly rinse off my knife because it's a carbon steel knife and I don't want it to rust or anything. Okay, my onions are continuing to go. Everybody, I want to emphasize nice, beautiful, low heat on these onions. We're not looking to scorch the onions. We're not looking to burn the spices released by the chorizo. We're just looking to get them nicely, beautifully softened and to start really, really developing and caramelizing them. We want to cook out some of the excess liquid. We want to be able to brown some of the sugars, and then that way our tomato sauce is going to be nice and sweet. All right, and I want it finely minced. I want it finely minced so that it basically melts in. And Jack, I think I do. So, let's go ahead and go into this little teeny tiny condiment bowl. And we're gonna go in and we're going to go ahead and smash each of these bad boys on in using my handy dandy garlic press. I hate chopping garlic. It sticks to your cutting board. It makes a mess. If you haven't already invested in a garlic press, you're all making a mistake. All right. Lovely. There we go. That's the garlic that we need for today. I'm just going to go ahead and get all that stuff out as well. Excellent. We're still gonna need that garlic press in just a second. Once again, I'm giving my onions just a little stir. We're still cooking this on a nice low heat, everybody. Low and slow does it. If you do a high heat, as per usual with cooking, if you do a high heat on these onions, what's going to happen is the outside of the onions will be burnt by the time before it's actually fully caramelized. Before all of the sugars have properly gotten brown, one side of it will just end up being a little bit too burnt and a little bit too acrid. Low and slow does it. Next, chilies. Remember my chilies? I want a spicy tomato sauce today. Also, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Darby. Thank you, thank you. So, I have all these bird's eye chilies in here. We're gonna go ahead and cut the heads off each of them. As per usual, just get the heads off. We don't need them. We have no use for them. Excellent. Should I be using my gloves? Probably. Yeah, I'm gonna use my gloves. Let's go ahead and continue I want to mix these onions, guys. Again, super, super low heat. We're cooking them really low. We're cooking them really slow. Excellent. Again, you see how much I'm rushing? You see how much I'm stressing out about those onions? All of that is because I decided not to do my aromatic prep beforehand. Okay? So again, do as I say, not as I do. Bird's eye chilies, everybody. We want a nice, thin slice on these because again, I want this to also melt in and flavor my beautiful sauce today. Okay? This is, we butcher whole chickens here too, you know, we slice baby birds, we slice bird's eye chilies, we hate birds here. Does anybody have any questions about this process so far? We're progressing along beautifully, we're making excellent time at the moment. Okay, there we go, one last chili to go. Again, fairly small pieces. And again, I'm looking for a really spicy tomato sauce today. You don't have to do the spicy of a tomato sauce. I just love it. I'm kind of inspired by like an arrabbiata for this. But there we go. And again, all of these chilies are just gonna melt on in. They're going to add in a beautiful, beautiful heat to everything. Once again, using my bench scraper just to pick everything up and put it all back inside, seeds and all. Is using fresh spices better than dry ones? Jack, it depends on the spice. It just depends. Okay, guys, look at my stove. Look at this. Into this pot can now go in my chilies. We didn't start with the chilies because they could burn before the onions are done. But now we're going with the chilies and we go on a slightly higher heat. Guys, look at that pan. Look at that golden oil. And we don't add the garlic. The garlic is gonna be the last thing that we do before the tomatoes because the garlic needs really little time to cook. If we cook the garlic too soon, we'll end up burning the garlic. Okay? So, everybody, that's all going. That's lovely. Look at that. And again, I'm already hearing that sound. I'm already telling you, too high of a heat. We're just slowly building color. We're slowly building flavor. Last step, everybody. Last step. Tap in. We gotta go ahead and slice up the tomatoes. So, I have my plum tomatoes here. Again, you can use any kind of tomato that you would like. I like plum tomatoes because they're really fleshy. So we just slice them in half through the root. And then I make a diagonal incision to get the core of the tomato out. 1, 2, done. Excellent. Take tomato, slice that bad boy in half. Take the core, 1, 2, pop it out. Take the core, well actually this one doesn't have one. Take the tomato, and I'm using, guys, I'm not really measuring when I cook tomato sauces. Tomato sauces are basically, you know, as variable as you'd like them to be. Favorite anime right now? I am watching Baki with my partner Natalie at the moment. What kind of tomato? These are plum tomatoes. You can use canned San Marzano tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomato. Guys, nothing that I am teaching you here is a recipe. So I want you to understand all of your possible potential substitutions. I want you to be able to understand this. But if you have tomatoes that are cheaper, look better, or fresher in your area, go ahead and get those. I don't want you to go out of your way to go get these kinds of tomatoes if you don't have them. I like plum tomatoes because, again, they have a very little water and they're very fleshy. And they're also very cheap. That's my primary motivating factor in this. Okay, last 2 plum tomatoes. That's it. Lovely. But yeah, if you have homegrown tomatoes, use those. It does not matter what kind of variety of tomatoes this is, I promise. They will all result in a slightly different product. But your goal should never be, chat, I want you all to say yes, chef, to this right now. Your goal in watching this should never be to replicate what I am doing. Your goal should be to look at what's around you, look at what's available, and try to make something that is similar, but then is entirely different. I want you to make things that are different to me. I'm not looking for you to replicate what I'm doing here. This is not a recipe show. So, my chilies, my onions, guys, look at that color. Look at all of that color. Do you understand the depth of flavor that today's tomato sauce is gonna have? We're going to go ahead and take this, hit it with some salt. Nice generous amount. We're gonna need plenty of salt for the tomato sauce today. And then we're going to go in with all of this garlic. Remember that garlic? This is why we add it in at the end, everybody. If you added it in any sooner, the garlic would just scorch. The garlic only needs about 30 seconds of cook time. I don't believe in this nonsensical traditional Italian way of you put in a whole garlic clove and then you take it out. If you see any traditional Italian recipe, that's what they do. I love just using really, really nicely minced garlic and letting it just instead melt into everything that we're doing. So we're keeping it mixing. We're frying it. Guys, look at this oil. Look at this fat. Look at this flavor inside of the pan that we have at the moment. We're scraping it up, we're moving it, we're frying the garlic, but we're making sure not to burn it. We're scraping up the edges of the pan. We got the chilies fried, the onions fried. This sauce has the chorizo fat in it. This is going to be the most incredible tomato sauce, everybody. And now, my plum tomatoes going in after we took the cores out. We turn up the heat. The tomatoes, in a moment, are just going to end up releasing their own liquid. They're going to end up releasing their own liquid, and I like doing my tomatoes skin on for this. The reason why, I find that after I blend it, the skin on tomatoes, they do really truly help to thicken it up a little bit better. So all these tomatoes, my friends, they're all going to soften in just a little bit of time. Just make sure that you're picking up all those solids, all of that garlic, all of those chilies from the bottom. We can even press the tomatoes down a little bit. We turn up the heat, and now you can hear it sizzling as the water is now hitting the oil. The goal at this stage is not to caramelize the tomatoes. We're just going to hit it with a bunch of salt. A nice generous amount of salt. Why dump the big tomato chunks? Really good question, Darby Doll. If we were to puree this first, and then we were to cook it down, you would have to stir it a lot more because then the tomato sauce becomes too viscous. How many times, by the way, have you tried to make a tomato sauce and then you find that it keeps splashing? That's because you blended it down before actually cooking it. I want to keep the chunks as intact as possible, evaporate as much of liquid as possible, and then blend it down. Does that make sense? You don't want to blend it down first. At least for me. That's what I really like doing. So, again, we're just stirring it up. We are getting some of the tomato water out. We have the salt in there. We're just stirring all of this stuff up. And once the tomatoes soften enough, they're going to release all of the precious liquid. And the salt is going to help facilitate that at the moment. So, we're going to turn down the heat. We're going to put a lid on it just to soften it, just to collapse the texture, and then it'll release a bunch of water. Do you smash them in a pot? We'll end up doing that later. There is no reason to really smash like a raw tomato. These are just straight up raw tomatoes. But yeah, everybody, that's it. Does anybody have any questions about the tomato sauce so far? We had all of this beautiful chorizo, and now I'm also gonna have a little taste. Beautiful chorizo. We fried it. We got all that chorizo fat out. We got the chorizo fat out. We went ahead and we cooked the onion and all the chorizo fat alongside some olive oil. We took some chili, we fried in the olive oil and the chorizo fat. We added some garlic, okay? And then we added in a bunch of beautiful plum tomatoes. Now you can hear the sound has officially changed. So we are just giving them a slight smash just so that we can help get the liquid out of the tomatoes. But in due time, my friends, with a little bit of steaming, a little bit of stirring, that's all that it's going to be for the tomato sauce. And then it just has to cook down for about an hour or so. Or until it tastes sweet enough. If you feel like you need to add sugar into your tomato sauce, you haven't actually cooked it long enough. Guys, you don't need sugar in your tomato sauce. You just need to cook it down a little bit longer. I promise you. And you can also like add a carrot, but with the sweetness that the onion gives, with the sweetness of the tomato, just by cooking it down and caramelizing and evaporating the excess liquid, I promise you, this tomato sauce is going to be rich and robust and full of flavor today. Okay? But yes, plenty of people, so many people, they do it as like a cooking hack. We're going to add sugar to the tomatoes to help make it taste better. This is what all the restaurants do. You do not need to do this. Anybody who is teaching you to do that doesn't particularly know the truth about tomatoes, which is you just gotta cook these bad boys long enough. Just cook it long enough and it's all gonna be okay. I promise. All right? So, these tomatoes are now going. We're going to, again, keep a lid on it so the steam can help collapse the texture. Once the texture is collapsed, we're going to go ahead and take the lid off. The chili was getting caught in my throat. I'm going to quickly rinse off my knives. Does anybody have any questions for me at the moment? Restaurants do add sugar, Serena, if they are just kind of whatever restaurants, is my answer to you. I mean, it depends on the intention of the restaurant. But now we're getting into a discussion of industry and industry standards. Guys, let me tell you something right now. I want you all to tap and I want you all to listen to me. Come in, come in, come in. Are you ready for this? I'm about to drop some knowledge. Okay? Ready for this? Just because an industry, a company, a business, or a professional does something does not mean that it makes a better product. One of the biggest issues that people have is they trust the fantasy of the restaurant. They trust the romanticized idea of the professional. Let me tell you something. Professionals, businesses, restaurants, industry, they don't make things to make them good. They make things that sell. They make things that are profitable. Profitability does not equal quality. People that are really, really passionate, that you will find in all different walks of life, make things out of love and respect and care. The people that add sugar into a tomato sauce in a restaurant setting, they're doing it because they're being paid to. They're doing it because that is what people expect instead of, whatever concept of a very slowly and long cooked tomato sauce. It's not a better product. It is a cheaper and a faster product, and one that is significantly less technical. Industries, professionals, all that it means to be a professional, by the way, professional doesn't mean that you're good at something. A professional only means that you make money doing this thing. It does not innately mean that you're good at it. That's what it means for somebody to be a professional. So trust people that aren't actually materially profiting from, giving all kinds of information. That is something that I want all of you to take home. I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef. Everybody watching. Okay, let's go back to the stove. Let me show you my tomato sauce. Take a look. The pan has now officially flooded with liquid. All of that water that was locked into the tomatoes, the texture has been collapsed a little bit. The tomatoes have now been squeezed of their water. And now, my friends, the goal is to cook this on a medium heat or so. We're looking to continue to soften the tomatoes. We're looking to get them really, really nice and soft that we can blend them down. We're looking to break it all down. It's going to be an incredible, incredible tomato sauce today. Okay? You just got here, Trash Panda? That's okay. We're making a spicy tomato sauce for today. Spicy tomato sauce with chorizo fat, with onions, with garlic. And this is going to be going into our baked pasta. You can type in exclamation mark menu. Okay, I need to finish putting away a couple of things. Just throw them into my dishwasher really, really quickly. Everybody, please bear with me for just a moment. I want to rinse off of my other knife at the moment. That's what I really, really like to do. Does anybody have any questions about this for me so far? So, again, my inspiration for today, I know this isn't particularly like an authentic way to use like ziti, an authentic way to actually make a baked ziti. This is me using up what I have in my fridge. So Darby, your question actually leads into this. You ask me, how do I choose what I make for stream? Everything that I make here is built off of my home ecosystem. I look at my pantry ingredients. I look at produce that's about to go bad. I look at meat that I've had in my fridge. And then I think of, hey, what are creative solutions to actually use this up? And then I buy things depending on the dish that I want to make. The thing that I want to teach all of you is how to get comfortable enough in a kitchen, how to get creative enough that you feel confident enough to make all of these different choices, that you have enough knowledge that you're like, yeah, I can just bust out a tomato sauce like this. Right? Even if it's using non-traditional components. It's all about working with what you have, absolutely. Using up fresh produce. I had leftover chorizo. I had leftover cilantro. And so I was like, okay, I want to make a tomato sauce today. That's my goal. That's my ambition. And now take a look, everybody. As this tomato sauce is cooking away, the tomatoes are breaking down in their texture. We're occasionally going in there, scraping up the bottom, okay? And just letting it cook now. If I was 5 years younger, I would say, let him cook. Okay, it's not talent, Darby. I don't believe in talent. I believe in predispositional learning. Talent doesn't exist. Only skill exists. People that take the time and learn something, they will learn how to do it properly. But I do not believe, besides very niche exceptional cases, in prodigies or in talent. Jivjav asks, do you have any experience with meat replacements? I'd love to make something like this for my roomies, but one is a vegetarian. What could I use to add that fatty umami to the sauce without meat? Olive oil. You don't need a meat substitute for this. You can just do olive oil. Just do olive oil. It's a nice, delicious fat for that. And then if you want like meaty chunks, you can theoretically use mushrooms like Fernando said. I would honestly, if you want like umami and you want like that meaty flavor, do a little tomato paste, do a little splash of soy sauce. It'll still be amazing. Do I use tomato paste with my tomatoes for the sauce? It depends on my intentions. I don't have any tomato paste and I didn't want to buy any. So you can if you want to. The tomato paste adds a very like earthy note to it. It's like very, very sweet. It's very concentrated, right? But it's quite bitter. So not really what I'm going for today. So guys, we're just letting it cook, medium to low heat. We're getting all the water out of the tomatoes. We're evaporating some of the water from the tomatoes. And now we are going to do something completely non-traditional. Yeah, we're gonna do something crazy. We're gonna do something crazy. Everybody, do you know what we're gonna do? We're not gonna boil today's pasta. Gasp. I'm taking a little bit of inspiration from J. Kenji Lopez Alt's baked ziti dish today. We are going to be soaking our pasta in hot water today. Just in some salted hot water. That's it. We're not gonna boil it. We're just going to soak it. It was shown that like, soaking something in like hot boiling water, I mean, it basically has the same exact effects. As if you were to like pre-boil the, pre-boil the pasta and then you take it out and you drain it. We're not gonna do anything like that. We're taking inspiration from J. Kenji Lopez Alt's method. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that ready. I have a kettle. I'm going to fill it up with water. And then I'm going to just, get that boiling for us today. Is that past the max line? No, not quite. But yeah, this is a very nice way of prepping like baked ziti, so you don't have to like use up another pot or anything. You don't have to strain anything. I mean, it's just going to be a little bit easier for us today. Okay? But yeah, I'd take a lot of inspiration from Kenji. He's like one of the first people that got me really excited into like understanding why things work in a kitchen. So let's head back here. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my cutting board really quickly with a nice little paper towel. What type of noodle is ziti again? I'll show you in a second. I'll show you. Don't you sweat it. Okay, and now I'm going to take a bowl that can accommodate properly an entire pound of my ziti. This is ziti risotto. Is that a lot of pasta? Do I need an entire pound for today? Chat, I don't think I should make a pound of baked pasta today. Okay, I'm going to now attempt. Uh-oh. We're gonna get it back all into the box, and I did so successfully. I'm gonna use half a pound of pasta for today. I think that's a little bit better. Guys, I'm cooking for 2 people at home. I do not need an entire pound of baked ziti, or like once it's all been cooked and stuff. There we go. That should be fine. Okay. And I know, this is not a traditional method by any means. It is just something that I saw J. Kenji Lopez Alt do. It's not something that I've ever done. It's something that I've wanted to give it a shot. Okay, we're going to go into the pot of tomato sauce, everybody. We're going to make sure that nothing is sticking, nothing is squelching. We can now just cut some of the tomatoes in half. Don't worry about the skins. The skins are all gonna get blended up into today's beautiful sauce. I'm looking for a nice silky sauce. You can do the, hand-crushed tomato sauce if you want, but I like blending the skins in. Okay, and now, let's go ahead and hit this all with a bunch of salt. Because again, we're looking for the pasta water itself to get like quite salty, like the soaking water. And that's going to fully like penetrate and then season the noodles themselves. Okay, there we go. And we don't have to worry about like evenly distributing it. Darby doll, I use kosher salt. The reason why I use kosher salt in a kitchen, let me show you, is because it is coarse enough that I can pick it up. Specifically, this is diamond crystal kosher salt. It's hollow, so it's not too dense. But it's coarse enough that you can pick it up with your hands. I never cook with table salt. I never cook with pink Himalayan salt or whatever. Ooh, really good question. So Kitsune asks me, why do recipes tell you to use pasta water to add to the sauce? Let me tell you, this bad boy right here, this is a pasta. It's made with flour. You know what flour has? It has starch. When you heat and you cook the pasta itself, the water starts to get saturated with some of the starch that is released by the pasta itself. That starch, once reduced, I mean, it's a thickening agent. Think of a roux, think of adding cornstarch into something. It helps to thicken your sauce. Now, let me tell you as a secret. Everybody lean in, lean in. I want you all to lean in. I'm talking about you. Lean in. I want to hear a nice yes chef from everybody watching. I'm about to blow all of your minds. Ready for this? Come in. Pasta water at home is usually completely useless. Gasp! Why do Daramgar? Why? Why do all of these recipe sites tell me to use pasta water? Why is it that the professionals do it? Let me tell you something. When you're making pasta at home and you make it in a big pot of water, and you do one batch of pasta inside of that water, you're not getting a lot of starch. In a restaurant setting, where they have boilers and big pots of water constantly going, and they're doing batch after batch after batch of pasta, that water then becomes incredibly starchy and then is able to then thicken things. If you were to boil this in a traditional pot and it was just one batch of pasta, that pasta water has a negligible amount of starch in it. It is a negligible amount of starch concentration. The way to actually get usable pasta water, I do all of my pastas at home, I do a shallow water cooking method. So like I would do this on a pan, it'd be like maybe like a third of the volume of water as they would normally be in a pot, and that water becomes a lot more concentrated as a result. You have been lied to by a bunch of incompetent cooks that have just seen restaurants do it and say, oh, we need to add pasta water at home. It doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. Also, hi, Cyber. Welcome in. Let's give my lovely tomato sauce a nice little stir around. Oh, gorgeous, isn't it? Okay. Everybody, my water from the kettle has now officially boiled. Let's go ahead and soak my pasta. And so, by the way, the pasta, they won't stick to each other if you just stir them after 5 minutes or so. Okay? So I'm going to cover all of these bad boys in a bunch of boiling water, and I mean covered. So all the way up here is good to me. And then I'm going to go ahead and just take this off my table. I'm going to go ahead and put it just on the stove behind us. And again, if you guys would like my reference, go to J. Kenji Lopez Alt's Baked Pasta. I'm setting a timer for about 30 minutes or so. That's how long it's going to approximately take for all of this to, you know, just get like nice and softened. So just move it around a little bit, and then we're going to move it around in just a few minutes as well. And then all of that pasta, it's going to soak up some of the water, and it's going to be great. Should we use starch water like corn or flour starch? Jack, a lot of people do that. That's what a lot of people do, especially in restaurant settings. They do a little bit of cornstarch. We're doing a baked pasta, so we don't need pasta water. We don't need the excess starch, okay? Because it's going to really, really cook with the sauce today. Lovely. Okay, so that needs to all go together for at least 30 minutes. Excellent. I don't think I'm actually going to be using this Dutch oven today for anything. What about hot dog water? Not very useful. So, everybody, we're making a spicy, delicious baked ziti with chorizo. Is this traditional? Absolutely not. But I'm using what I have at home. I have so many lovely Mexican ingredients. I have my chilies, I have my chorizo, I have some cilantro. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's apply, you know, some of these Italian, some of these American Italian techniques into the setting. And it's just going to be fantastic anyways. Okay? It is authentic. You know who it's authentic to? It's authentic to my home kitchen. It might not be authentic to Italian food, but it's authentic to my home kitchen. And that's what matters above all else, that I'm not wasting anything, that I'm not using, that I'm not going out of my way to buy things that I won't use. I want to find creative solutions to use up a bunch of the things that I cook at home. So I'm just stirring the pasta occasionally, right? It's just soaking in the water. We're doing this to stop it from sticking to one another, okay? Stop it from becoming a bit of a sticky situation. I'm going to go ahead and do away with my Dutch oven at the moment. I don't think I actually need to food anything today. Does anybody have any questions whatsoever about what we're doing today or just about anything at all? I'm here to help you. That's right, you learn how to cook. I do have to check my notice 1 second, please. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that tomato sauce go, everybody. Look at it go. So here's what I'm going to do really quickly though. We are now going to be moving on over to a silicone spatula. Because as this tomato sauce reduces, the less liquid that it actually has in the pot, the more it starts to burn at the bottom. Water, just doesn't let things really brown too easily, right? Water directly inhibits that chemical reaction. As the water disappears, and as the drier the bottom becomes, it can then burn. Oh, Rondo, I don't know how to answer your question. When I said ask me anything, that's not what I meant. It's okay. I've led you astray. That's all my fault, really. Okay. Lovely. So yeah, the silicone spatula, really, really nice for just scraping up the bottom and scraping up the sides of this pot, okay? And now, once again, don't forget about the pasta. Just go in there and give it a stir. Make sure nothing, just make sure nothing is sticking. You don't need oil. You don't need oil to stop it from sticking or anything. And that's like the nice thing about the soaking method. Typically speaking, when you're making like a baked pasta dish where it's all going to be going into like these little vessels and you boil the pasta too early and then you take it out and then the pasta is cold and then it's sticking to each other and then you have to add the oil. None of that matters because we're just keeping it in some hot water and it's not going to overcook this way. Rondo, I don't know the square root of 27. Okay, chat. We prepared the chorizo for the baked pasta itself. We have to also cut up the mozzarella cheese that we need for today. Some of it is going to be grated, some of it's going to be chopped up. We're going to add in a bunch of cilantro into this today. So we do have a little bit of prep for us to get done at the moment. Everybody excited? Let's get it. So let's come on back over to my trusty, lovely cutting board. And now let's go in with my cilantro. We're going to start processing the cilantro for this today. So I'm going to be using all of the cilantro in some form or another. All of this bad boy right here. Okay. I think I might just save some for like the salad that I was planning on doing, and some of it's just going to go into the ziti itself. Yeah. So, chat, let's go ahead and get rid of those stems. Do you have to do this? No. Do I like doing it? Yes. Getting rid of the stems, they're fibrous in texture, they're not really my favorite texture. And by the way, this was one of my main inspirations for today. I wanted to use up all the cilantro that I have. You don't typically see cilantro in a lot of Italian pasta dishes. I'm sure cilantro is used. I mean, it's used all around the world, but this is not really the herb when you think about Italian cooking. What herbs come to mind? You think of basil, you think of a lot of parsley, you think of oregano, rosemary, that kind of thing. But cilantro, not really at the top of the list, at least for me. And so, again, we're just using all these different Mexican ingredients and flavors, coupled with, the technique and the ideas and frameworks of some Italian dishes. It's authentic to my home kitchen at the end of the day. So, what is my best style of pizza for me, Jack? My favorite style of pizza, I love me a Sicilian. I love a Sicilian pizza, like a New York Sicilian slice. Those are, you can't go wrong with those. Those are pretty excellent. Okay, everybody, we're just continuing to pluck and get rid of all the big stems. It's okay if you have some thin stems in there. Thin stems don't hurt anybody. I'm just going to go back in and stir my pasta. Does anybody have any questions about the food that we're doing today? We're staying busy. We're staying on top of it. Okay. New Haven style is the best. I mean, yeah, New Haven style is pretty tough to beat. I had New Haven pizza once. Only once, though. New Haven, Connecticut isn't too far. Ooh, stop it. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something right now. Chat, I want you all to tap in. I want you all to listen to something right now. You ready for something? I have a very mature opinion. This idea of, oh, what is the best kind of pizza? Who's doing the best sandwiches? Who's doing the best Philly cheesesteak? It's a matter of intention. You cannot take two products that are created with different histories, different groups of people that are meant to fulfill different culinary intentions. Food is only as good as the intentions under which it was created and under the intentions of which it was eaten. How can you take a New York pizza with low moisture mozzarella, a crispy bottom semolina crust, topped with, an olive oil and a fairly cooked down tomato sauce? How can you look at that and be like, it's better than a Neapolitan pizza? They're two different things. You're comparing apples to TVs. Okay? A Neapolitan pizza is meant to be chewy. It's not meant to be crispy on the bottom. They're made with two completely different standards and intentions. When I want the New York pizza, I want the New York pizza. When I want a Neapolitan pizza, I want a Neapolitan pizza. When I want a Chicago pizza, I don't think that happens to me often. But, they're two completely different things. They're made with different intentions. So it feels impossible to be like, what is the best style of pizza? Which city has the best pizza? They're different. You cannot compare the two of them. Now, if you're like saying, oh, these two restaurants both do a deep dish pizza, then fine. Okay, have your little competitions. Food is only as good as the intentions under which it's created, and that is the only thing that you can actually correctly judge it against. Okay, is that clear? Does everybody understand my theory, my philosophy? I'm going to take my silicone spatula, and now I can start to feel some stuff sticking onto the bottom. Remember, if it's sticking, it can burn. If it's sticking, it can burn. So we're just stirring it. We're moving it around. We're agitating it. We're making sure that we're not allowing that stickage to ensue, because otherwise we would have an issue. We would have a problem. So let's go ahead and take my lovely little knife. Everybody, we're looking for a nice little slice on the cilantro. As always, everybody, you're going to take your cilantro. You're going to ball it up in your paws. You see my paws? I'm balled up cilantro right now. We're going to take it. We're going to take it. We're going to take it. And here's what we're going to do, everybody. I don't want you to crush this. I don't want you to chop this. This is a chop. And this is a slice. This is a slice. We're going to slice it. When you chop it, you cleave it like an axe. You crush the cells, and then the herbs oxidize. And they end up losing their flavor. As you crush the cells and you expose all that chlorophyll, it's going to end up losing its flavor over time. We slice in this household. We only slice. So ball it up in your hands. Take it. You're going to just roll it down. We're not crushing it, but we're holding it down gently. Just that's right. Like a baby bird. You want to hold it so gently that you don't crush it, but not so firmly. Well, not so firmly that you crush it, not so gently that it flies away. And then you take your little baby bird, and then you slice it. You slice it. You take it and you slice it. This is what he was meant for. We're not chopping. We're slicing. You need a nice, beautiful, sharp knife for this. We're just pulling it through. We're pulling it through. We're pulling it through, everybody. Okay? This is what it means to slice something and not chop it. I refuse to chop my herbs. It is a mistake. You will end up destroying the lovely texture. Okay. There we go. And give it a little rotation. Excellent. And we're just doing one more little pass through, and I think that'll be perfect. We'll see like how much I want to actually put into the pasta. We don't really need this immediately. We don't have to make that decision immediately. Okay, and you can see it's not sticking to my cutting board. If it was sticking to your cutting board, you ended up crushing the cells, and then it would have ended up getting wet. When it's wet, it gets sticky, and when it's wet, it got crushed. Do I have any more cooking myths to debunk? Throw me something that people say about food, and I will tell you whether or not it's true, Darby. I dispel so many different cooking myths. So many. I am like the transgender mythbusters. Okay, sliced cilantro. Excellent, beautiful. We're going to go ahead and integrate that in later on. I'm going to go ahead and quickly rinse off my knife, just because all that stuff was sticky, and I don't want it to stay on my precious little knife. And then I'm going to take a second to also clean up my station. So which foods do we chop, asks Serena. That's a good question. Generally speaking, you're looking to chop things that are A, hard, and B, things that you don't really care about the texture about, / you don't care about your knife. So think of a butternut squash. A butternut squash is really, really hard. Think of a pumpkin. You don't really have the privilege of finally slicing them because they need a lot of vertical force. The harder the vegetable, the more vertical force that you actually need to apply. Okay, potatoes, generally speaking, as well. Uncooked scrambled eggs are not safe to eat. Jack, it depends on the processing of the eggs. There's a million reasons why. I eat raw eggs over rice all the time. Okay, chat, let's head back to my tomato sauce. I want you all to look at my tomato sauce here. I don't joke around. I do not mess around when it comes to tomato sauce. Full of the chorizo fat, full of the olive oil, has the onions, but we're slowly cooking it. We're not rushing this process. And it is essential that you don't either. I don't want to see you cook this for 10 minutes and say, oh, my tomato sauce, it's too acidic, and then you add sugar. Don't do that. Do not do it. Absolutely, under no circumstance can you do that. The longer you cook it, the more you have to stir it because the drier it gets on the bottom, the more of a chance it has to burn. We're looking to slightly roast the sauce, of course, but we're not looking to scorch the tomatoes or anything. But now, I do want to give it a taste anyways. I just want to see how far along we are. And by the way, if your tomato sauce just tastes good and you like the acidity and you like the balance that it has, you don't need to cook it more than you have to. You are allowed to cook this as long or as little as you would like. Oh my God. Oh, I'm getting the heat. I'm getting the spice. I'm getting the sweetness and the flavor of the onion. I'm getting all of that fat from the chorizo right now. Do you understand? Look at me right now. Look at me. Do you understand how serious that tomato sauce is? That is no joke. I do not mess around in the kitchen. Chat, do we mess around in the kitchen? We're just moving around the pasta, making sure it's just not sticking. It's soaking up. You can see how much it's inflated. It's soaked up the hot water. It's basically cooked, almost. Kind of tastes like raw pasta. Has like a bit of mushiness. Oh. But it's soaking up the liquid. And the reason, by the way, that you pre-boil this, or, we're doing the pre-soak, is because if we added this to the sauce directly, it would just end up soaking up all the tomato sauce. And then we would just have a very, very dry baked pasta. Okay, so the soak is a fairly essential step. Now, theoretically, I bet you can make a baked pasta without ever boiling the noodles at all, just by simply having enough liquid. Let's say we made like a good tomato sauce and then we diluted it. I bet people have already done that, but we're just doing the pre-soak. Okay. All right, everybody. We're going to now preheat our oven because it's going to soon be that time. Actually, we can do that in now would be a good time. I'm not going to mess around with this too much. We're going to go ahead and preheat our oven to around 400 degrees. Again, I'm using a lot of like J. Kenji Lopez's alts. J. Kenji Lopez alts times and stuff for this because we like doing the soaked pasta. And we're going to go ahead and fill it up into little containers. We're going to bake it off. It's going to be excellent. It's going to be really, really beautiful. Okay, next, let's think about the other components that we are going to need for this. So let's go ahead and start talking about the cheese, my friends. Let's start talking about the cheese. Some people, they do ricotta. Some people, they do like an egg in there just to like help thicken everything. I have a nice big block of mozzarella cheese. I took a little slice out of it earlier. I'm trying to think, how much of that do I actually want to end up using? I have a feeling that I only want to like use half of that. Because this is a serious amount of mozzarella cheese here. I think I'm only going to use like half of this. Okay. You can definitely have too much cheese. What's the worst sauce I've ever had in a dish? I have no idea. I have genuinely no clue. I don't think I've ever thought about it that way of like, what was my worst tasting sauce? All right, we're going to do like a little over half a pound for this today. Ooh. I didn't cut through all the way through the end of it. Excellent. Okay, and I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this up and put this into my fridge. Because we don't need it at the moment. I'm not going to use up all of it. That is a nice big block of cheese, isn't it? Okay, here's what I want to do. I want to have some that are cubes that actually get mixed throughout, that end up melting, and then I want some sheets. I want some sheets so that we get like layers of melted cheese in there as well. Okay? I'm trying to think, do I want like melted cheese on top? And I'm thinking not. I've realized I don't love like super finely shredded cheese in baked pastas because they tend to get a little bit lost. You do like a baked like shredded cheese in there and you like mix it through. I feel like you just don't feel it anymore after a certain point. Okay, my tomato sauce is going, it's looking splendid. So I want to get some like thin slices, and then I want to get some like nice little cubes in there that'll melt in as well. Okay. Besides feta, is there any cheese that lactose intolerant people can eat? Generally, yes, Jack. Any fermented cheeses, because fermented cheeses, the bacteria that break down the lactose, they feed off of it. Okay, so let's go ahead, and one of these blocks is going to be dedicated for my cubing, and then one of them is going to be dedicated to make into sheets. Okay, so yeah, so like for example, Parmigiano Reggiano is naturally lactose free. But yes, Jivjov, I would love to know more about some like lactose free cheeses. Jarlsberg, I believe, is another naturally occurring lactose free cheese. Okay, so this guy right here, we're going to go ahead and get some nice thin slices. And it's okay if it like breaks up a little bit. That's totally okay too. Just slice it Yep, it's totally fine if it breaks up, everybody. We just don't want this to be too thick. These are the ones that we want to sort of melt up into different layers, okay? So like these guys, they're gonna melt up into different layers. They're gonna give us like these nice sheets of like shreddy, delicious melted cheese. Nice and gooey. There you go. It's all happening. It's all coming together. Okay, sweet. I'm gonna go ahead and just put this onto a separate plate, just so that's sitting behind us and out of my way. And again, it's all about textural contrast, my friends, right? But yeah, I wouldn't do like a really, really finely shredded mozzarella in like a big pasta. I've like stopped doing that. I realized that that is just not my ideal texture. I like having the heterogeneity. I love having like the, you know, really, really big chunks and then some of the fine sheets. And now, this is gonna be my cube cheese at the moment. These guys, we're going to cut them almost like we're doing tofu, I suppose. I do love Jarlsberg. Jarlsberg is one of my favorites. So you see, guys, we're gonna get like these nice, like sturdy cubes out of this one, okay? There we go. And just cut it up, cut it up, cut it up. There we go. So we have the duality. We have a tale of two cheeses, okay? We have these really, really nice sheets of mozzarella, and then we have these nicely cubed up ones. This is whole milk, full fat mozzarella, I believe. And you want it to be, you know, like full fat. You want it to like melt in properly and stuff. There you go. Heterogeneity mentioned? No. I did not summon Adam Ragusia. I did not summon Adam Ragusia. I will never do that. Okay, chat, let's go ahead and take another look on the stove, see what's happening. Oh yeah. This sauce, it's all coming together. In fact, I think we might be soon due for a blending. Sometimes your tomato sauces may take an hour. Sometimes they might only take 20 minutes. Just give it a taste. All you have to do is just give it a taste. Wow. And the flavor is going to change, especially the salinity, once you actually blend it or break it down. Because think about it, the inside of the tomatoes is not fully seasoned. We're only tasting like the really salty liquid on the outside. So if you feel like it's not salty enough, salt it at the end for something like a tomato sauce. Can I please get a yes, chef? In fact, do I just want a chunky tomato sauce for this today? Do I not want to blend this? I'm kind of leaning towards not blending this. Serena, here's my opinion on Adam Ragusia. I think he takes some unethical sponsorships. He takes sponsorships from, you know, some online therapy services, which I have a lot of very strong opinions about. And then he also takes sponsorships from a lot of, I've seen like him do like a vitamin brand before. So I have one very huge ethical problem with him and where he takes money. I understand that he feels the need to make a living, but guys, do you know what I want to do with my show? I'm not saying that I'm better, but I'm kind of saying I'm better. I want to be able to teach people how to cook without taking any sort of sponsorships that I am not proud to take. I don't want sponsorships unless it is a company and a vision that I love. And innately, because companies are for profit, well, no, Jack, don't clip it, please. Innately, you know, a lot of companies are for profit. Very few of them actually exist as real missions. So what I want to do, I want to keep the show free. And people say, oh, it's free with advertisements. Advertisements aren't free. Advertisements are selling your attention span. That's what you're paying with. And so I never want to do anything like that. And so for that, you know, that's why, you know, like the Patreon comes into play, the subscription, the tips and donations, because not everybody should be subjected to paying with their attention span for advertisements. I really strongly detest advertisements in every single walk of life, on billboards, on posters, on YouTube videos, on your subscription services that you pay for. There is an advertisement. I want this to be a space that is completely devoid of that. There is a Twitch ad that I can't turn off, but I have the other ads turned off. And I will keep them off. I will always keep those Twitch ads turned off. And so in order to do that, the only way that we can do that is with people that have the money to actually directly support, because information should be innately free. And it is not free if it has an ad on it. I would like to one day get to a point where I feel like I don't even have to ever mention my Patreon. I don't have to mention it. I don't have to say anything about it ever again. At the moment, that is the only way that I have to, you know, still play into this to some extent. And then one day, I think we'll be completely free of that. I'm gonna quickly wash off my knife, everybody. 1 second, please and thank you. But yeah, that is my vision, that is my dream. I wanna have the world's biggest cooking show, and for it to be completely free and accessible for everybody to watch. That's what I want. I want it to be a place where I am not selling you garbage products in order to selfishly run a cooking show. I want to teach you all how to cook. I don't want to teach you all a recipe. I want to actually, objectively, teach you how to cook and what it actually means to cook. Okay? That is my goal. That is my intention. I don't know what you're asking, Jack. Okay, everybody, I'm going to take a second to put a few things away. Thank you for listening to me rant about this. I appreciate it. Yes, Joy, it's very much so the same issue. Yeah, you got the same idea. I'm just going to put one thing away really quickly, and then we can get started with everything else. Is everybody still watching? Is everybody still paying attention? Does anybody need a recap session? If there is somebody new tuning in, I would love for you to also come in and say hi. It is good to have you. Really happy to have you, actually. But yes, I want to make everybody feel nice and included and welcome. So if anybody needs anything, never hesitate to ask me any question whatsoever. Okay, so let's go ahead and start getting our station ready for the pasta itself. The sauce is nearing its completion, right? It's getting nice and beautiful. I'm going to just start mashing it up a little bit. I don't care about my tomato skins. My oven is preheated. My pasta is almost done soaking, everybody. We are approaching the stages of assembly, and I hope you're all excited for it. So, here's what we gotta do. Also, thank you so much. Whoa, John Dahlia. Thank you, thank you. That is so many subs. Sorry for hitting my microphone. John Dahlia, that is an incredible amount of subs. You're very sweet. Everybody, please say thank you to Chef John. Chef John Dahlia. Okay. I got a sheet tray. This is the vessel that is going to be then carrying each of the different containers for my pasta today. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of aluminum foil just to make my life a little bit easier. Just so that in case anything sort of splashes out. Guys, it's a sheet tray. They're supposed to be crusty. It is the goal. A sheet tray that is crusty is the sign of a sheet tray well used. So this is what I have. I have some of these like Russian ceramic dishes from my grandma. Take a look at these bad boys. You can just use like a regular pot or something. I'm sure that would be just fine. But this is what I'm using for today. A seasoned sheet tray, that's right. Well, I guess, I don't know, people make carbon steel like sheet pans and stuff. I've definitely seen that before, so wouldn't be completely out of the question. Okay, so I got two of these things. They are very nice pots. These are from the USSR, I believe. Yeah. My grandma, my whole family, we still have like so many like different items in our kitchen. Would you guys like to see something? Like this bad boy right here. This is probably a red lead paint potato masher from the USSR. Really, really ancient stuff. And we still just use it actively. Okay, so that's what we need for the pots. And then we're just gonna slap a lid on them whenever they're ready to go. Where's my second lid? Wait guys, am I insane? Did I lose one of my lids? Oh, there it is. It's inverted on the other one. I see. And yeah, you can just do like any container, a glass tray. It would be fine. Yes, that's right. The lead has a lot of flavor. Okay, so I just have a notification I gotta check up on. My apologies, everybody. Okay. The only thing I'm going to do... Oh no, is my heavy cream bad? Did my heavy cream go bad? Is it over, chat? It might be over. It is 2 weeks expired. I'm like half considering adding in like a little bit of like fat in the form of sour cream or something into my sauce itself, like once it cools down a little bit, because I think it'll help the mozzarella to melt in a little bit more evenly. The sour cream, of course, is not going to be as good as the heavy cream in something like this, but we'll make do. Okay, everybody, you know what? I think my tomato sauce is officially done. That is viscosity that I wanted to hit. We can now just go in there. Oh, excuse me. We can just now go in here. You know, I've realized I do actually kind of want to blend this up because of the tomato skins, but I would have to do this in a separate blending vessel because this pan's a little too shallow. So what's my solution? I think my solution is I'm going to use a wooden spoon to crush up my tomatoes. Oop, but not splash it on my kitchen, hopefully. That's what we're going to do. Everybody, we're going to go in there. We're going in with my wooden spoon at the moment. But yeah, my heavy cream has gone bad. That's totally fine. We're just going to do a splash of sour cream, I believe. I think that'll be the right play at the moment. So I'm just crushing up all of the chunks, all of the chunks, all the chunks. Just letting it go. Feeling like any papers and just trying to break them up the best I can. We're going to keep the sauce relatively chunky for today. And guys, let's give that thing one more taste. And it's getting less salty the more that we actually smash it because we're getting like the rest of the flesh, the unseasoned flesh of tomato and a lot of the water out. Okay, you could also just theoretically use a potato masher for this, but I like a wooden spoon because we just get to put something to the side of the pot and really just crush it up that way. And again, guys, I didn't take the skins off. You could have taken them off. You can strain this if you want. You can blend this if you want. You can use canned tomatoes. There is so much room for creativity to actually be able to physically play around with this. Okay, so there is no right or wrong way to do this. My pasta has also officially finished soaking. My pasta has become a mormon today. I still see that we have some big chunks of tomatoes. Okay, just continuing to just press it all down. Does anybody have any questions about this process? Just get in there and just squish it and press it all. I could have decided to blend it, but I would have had to put that in a different container. So today we're opting for a slightly chunkier style tomato sauce. Keeping it simple. Okay, and we're just gonna keep on going. We're gonna keep on going. You feel a big chunk, you wanna squish it. You feel a big chunk, you wanna squish it down. You wanna get all those seeds out. Everything out and everything into the pan. Okay. Nice. I think that'll do just fine. Chat, what do we think? You think that's going to do just fine? I think that's going to do just fine. If my mushrooms are a bit slimy even after I rinse them, are they going to suck? Tarina, I'm not sure what you mean by slimy mushrooms. I don't feel like that's a problem I typically have with mushrooms. Okay, chat. It is time for us now to assemble everything that we need for the baked pasta. So the cheese is going to be added in last because we don't want to mix in the cheese too early since it can easily melt in. I am adding in all of my beautiful chorizo though, all my gorgeous chorizo. The last additions are going to be the aforementioned cheese and the cilantro itself. Although the cilantro can also just be added now because it's still going to bake anyways. I'm going to just add, you know, this amount of cilantro for now, and I'm sure that's going to be more than fine. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just strain out my pasta really quickly. Where is my metal strainer? Chat, who took my metal strainer? I saw somebody do it. I just don't know who it was. I found it. I have taken it back. Okay, I'm just going to go into the sink and just dump all of that pasta into my strainer really quickly. And we didn't have to bother with like getting another pot ready or anything. We can just go directly in. We're just getting rid of some of the rest of the water, but it's fine if there's like a little bit of water left over. Okay, so my soaked pasta going into my sauce now. And again, if my ratio of pasta to sauce is off, we'll just live with it. And now, the goal is you really want to heavily stir this in. You want all of that sauce to fill every single last crevice. And the more you stir it, the more you pick it up from the bottom. Remember guys, it has those holes in it. You need to fill up the holes with all that sauce, okay? That is the goal at the moment. You need to stir this. You can't over stir this, but you can definitely understir the sauce right now at this stage. So just get it in there, fold it all in. You can see some of the tubes are getting filled, some of them are not. So just keep going, keep going. Keep it going, my friends. Excellent. Oof. That's not, no, guys, hey, this is a family show. I did not mean anything by it. Chat, apologize. I want to hear a sorry chef from everybody watching. Even if you didn't say anything, you were complacent. I want to hear a sorry chef right now. Absolutely not. I will not stand for this. Oh, chat, look at this. Look at this pasta. Look at the sauce. So again, just keep it mixing. You want to be filled up. You don't want to see like any like loose sauce or anything, right? You just want to see it filled up nicely. Perfect. And now chat, here's what we got to do. I forgot my oregano. I was going to do some oregano into the sauce. Oh well, now this is going to be just as fine too. Could have ideally like extracted a little bit, but that's fine. A little pinch of oregano. And now we do my cubes of mozzarella and then some of the sheets. Not all of the sheets, but some of them. Oh, and I wanted to do my sour cream too. I just dropped a little bit on the ground. That's fine. Some of the sheets of mozzarella. We're going to top it off with the rest of it. Okay? And now all I wanted to do, I wanted to get a little bit of sour cream. I think the fat of it is going to help stop the mozzarella from splitting too much. It's going to help make the whole thing nice and rich. But we didn't want to add sour cream into the boiling sauce or anything, because then the sour cream could just easily split. Right? Sour cream really, really separates easily sometimes. So I'm just going to go in with a nice big handful of that. Guys, I'm completely improvising my addition of the sour cream. We're going to find out if it's good or not. Chat, do you think my sour cream is going to be a good addition? So just get it in there and now mix all of this up. All of my cubes of cheese, all of my sour cream now. I'm going to make the whole thing really nice and creamy. Distribute all of it. I almost forgot about the sour cream, which would have been a huge mistake. Yeah, I think that'll be just fine. What do you think, chat? You think the sour cream is going to save it? You think it's going to save the day for us? I think it will. Look at that. Oh, guys, look at that. Look at that. Look what's going on here. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Full of flavor. Seasoned beautifully. All the spices from the chorizo. The freshness of the cilantro as well. Let's go ahead and start filling up my containers, everybody. I'm going to just move all of this aside. I'm going to get my sheet tray out here. I don't think sour cream is sweet, though. Why would you say kind of sweet? Okay, and now let's just fill it up. Let's go ahead and get some nice, big, generous glugs. Oof, I don't have like a really amazing way to hold this pot. It is just that heavy. We're going to add, in the center, we're going to add a little layer of cheese on the inside. Okay? So just like a little bit of mozzarella cheese. I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to just stack it up. Just that much. And then the rest is just going to go on top. Okay? And then we're going to just fill this up with more pasta. Just make sure it goes into all of the different crevices, everybody. Excellent. That's what I'm talking about. And now let's go ahead and get the next one prepped up. These beautiful little cauldrons, huh? Guys, these containers can hold so much pasta, you have no idea. They look small. They look very, very, unassuming. But then you really, really see how much they can actually like take inside. It's like they're like bigger on the inside, which is crazy. Okay, all that pasta goes in. Excellent. And then let's do the next sheets of mozzarella, everybody. Is everybody following? Is everybody following? Does everybody understand the mission at the moment? Oh no, I've run out of sheets of mozzarella. Okay, we're not going to top it. It's fine. Everybody understand the mission. Everybody understand what we have to do here. Take it in there, pack it in. And again, this is why we put the foil down, just so that it wouldn't like leak out onto the sheet tray. Make our lives a little bit easier. Perfect. These two cauldrons were able to perfectly fit in all of that pasta. Thank God, guys, thank God I didn't do a whole pound. Can you imagine what would have happened if I did a whole pound of pasta for this? Let me just taste that. Oh, that is so good. A whole pound of pasta would have been way too much. Okay, everybody, that is going to be a big pasta. It's going to be incredible. It's going to be remarkable. I just have a little bit more cheese, so let's just take it and put it in the center for fun. Why not? At this point, why not? We got nothing to lose. You could top it with shredded mozzarella if you got any. Everybody, look at it. 400 degrees. It's going to go in there for 30 minutes. We did this out of some leftover chorizo, leftover cilantro. We made a beautiful tomato sauce. We took the fat from the chorizo. We cooked onions, we cooked garlic, we cooked chilies in it. We added in tomatoes, we added in oregano. We have some cubes of mozzarella, the chunks of chorizo. And now everybody, let's go ahead and slap a lid on these bad boys. Right, each of these lids going on now. Excellent, excellent. And this is going to go in there for around 30 minutes or so. Then we'll open it up and cook it for a little bit longer. Okay? This is serious, serious, serious business. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my sheet tray now. It should be pretty heavy. It is fairly heavy. So I'm gonna open up my oven first. Grab my sheet tray, hopefully not hot to the touch, and it is not. Grab it, put it inside, and everybody, I'm setting a timer for 30 minutes. 10, 20, 30. And that's it. Our baked pasta is going. And now it's time for us to work on the salad. Before we do the salad, I'm going to take a second just to put a couple of things away. Does anybody have any questions? Did you guys see that, by the way? Did you guys see how beautiful that looked? Did you see how beautiful that looked? Oh. That was gorgeous. That was a gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful thing of pasta. Let me tell you, that was a work of art. Okay. Remember, we were cooking at home. And when we cook at home, we clean at home, everybody. This is not a professional kitchen. I don't have any staff with me. This is a one-dog show. This is a one-man show. Okay. I just got a call from CPAC and they would like to offer you a big sponsorship. Wow, thank you. It's a one-dog show, so you know what that means? We have to clean as we go, everybody. We have to clean as we go. We have a second before we actually get started on the rest of the stuff for the salad today. So let's just go ahead and make the most out of it, okay? Take my strainer, throw it into the dishwasher. And also, by the way, this is why it helps to have a nice, clean kitchen before you start cooking. Make sure that your dishes aren't, piling up in the sink. Make sure that your dishwasher isn't full. Makes everybody's life more difficult, all right? And some good mozzarella. I'm gassing up the basic polio mozzarella, but it is just good. Okay, where's my lid? But yes, if anybody has any questions, this is a really, really nice time to do so. We just put the pasta into the oven, and now it's time for us to do the salad. So taking a second, keeping everything nice and clean, putting a couple of things away, because I want to stay nice and beautifully organized. Okay, as we go along. Chat, do you know how excited I am about today's food? Do you have any idea how delicious this is going to be today? Do you have any idea how much love and effort we care we put into tomato sauce? How much flavor? Jack asks, is there anything you don't know how to do? So really good question, Jack. I know, I'm going to say something right now that's going to sound insane. You ready for this, Jack? Chat, you ready? I want to hear a nice resounding guest chef from everybody watching. Jack, I have been cooking since I was 7. I'm 21 years old. I have been cooking for 14 years. I've been cooking for 14 years. I have been consuming food content and knowledge and understanding and criticizing it and writing essays about it and theorizing my whole life, essentially. 14 years. It was my passion, my thing that I did. Theoretically, I know how to do everything. I think technically I'm not capable to do a lot of it. I think theoretically I can explain to you how just about everything is done. But I don't think I would actually be able to execute on most of it because a lot of it is quite technical. For example, I know quite a bit about bread baking. I love bread. I love bread. I love a really, really good loaf of bread. Okay? I don't like making bread at home. I haven't done it that well. I'm sure that the more I do it, I'm going to find a lot of little teeny tiny things about it to then optimize it. On a theoretical, conceptual level, I know how to do everything. Wait, how long have you been cooking? An hour and a half? I see. That's not that quick of a stream. This is like a normal pace stream. I'm just moving fast today. But yes, on a conceptual level, I would actually say I can make anything. I can tell you about how it's made. And then technically speaking, I think that is where I'm incapable. And then when it actually comes to small micro optimizations. At the moment, my kitchen is a little bit too hot. So I'm just turning on the AC because I have a 400-degree oven on behind me and studio lighting. And I don't know if you guys know that, but ovens and lighting are a little bit hot, a little touch. I went to a Peruvian rotisserie place and they had to decide between half a chicken of white or dark meat. What would the main difference be? Wait, Jake, are you asking about like white meat or dark meat? So do I have a place where I post all the recipes and dishes? Yeah, exclamation mark YouTube. I just post all of the cooking stream VODs, but I don't write any recipes because I don't want to teach people recipes. I don't want to teach people basically sheet music. I want to teach you all conceptual, theoretical understanding. Okay? But the YouTube has all the backed up VODs. And then sometimes on Twitter I post things that I make off stream. But because of the fact that I cook 3 times a week on stream, Wednesdays, Fridays, Sundays, 5 p.m. EST, I don't have that much time for cooking outside of this, especially because I have just started my new job as a cooking instructor. Which I'm really excited about actually, but it does make my time a little bit more limited. That sauce with the sour cream, so good. So Jake, people, when they talk about chicken, white meat versus dark meat, the difference is that dark meat, typically speaking, it has, you know, it's just a little bit richer, it's a little bit fattier, it's darker in color. I think that's because of the myoglobin. It's either hemoglobin or myoglobin, I forgot. And white meat just simply refers to the breasts. The breasts and the wings can be classified as white meat. The breasts, the tenders, the wings, I would call white meat. The dark meat would be the legs and the thighs. Chef Dara, who eats all the food that you cook? This guy. And then my mom. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm just moving along a couple of things here. Okay, is there anything else that I need to immediately put away? I think I don't need my silicone spatula anymore. Everybody, please say thank you to Mr. Silicone Spatula. He's done a wonderful job for us today. And now, I believe it is time for us to begin the components for the salad today. So for the salad, I was originally going to do a cucumber salad. My cucumber has gone bad. I'm just going to be doing a red pepper, pickled onion, tomato salad with some freshly made homemade croutons. Okay, so sorry, just my phone buzzed. I got to check on something. Really, really sorry about this. Something came up. My apologies, a little bit unprofessional. But yeah, we're gonna start by making the croutons for today. And then we just gotta do the salad ingredients. We gotta do the tomatoes, we gotta do the peppers for it and stuff. We gotta chop everything up. And it's gonna be really, really nice and easy and quick. Okay. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We gotta do the croutons. Because currently at the moment, the pasta has about like 24 minutes left on it or so. The croutons are gonna take maybe about like 10, 12 minutes. Let's go ahead and do that and do all the prep for it now. So, everybody, really quick. I wanna talk to you about homemade croutons and the beauty of homemade croutons. Homemade croutons are a very nice way of using up excess stale bread, okay? I always think about cooking as transformative and not restorative. Do you guys know what I mean by that? Here's what I mean by this. When I say transformative and not restorative, I will never look at a stale piece of bread and I will be like, oh, how do I make this taste fresh again? How do I make this taste new again? That is never the intention of which that I go into it. I look at the stale bread because guess what? No matter what, if you try to put a little bit of water on it and bake it again and then you get a fresh piece of bread, it will never be as good as it was when it's fresh. It will never be as good. It might be 99%, but it'll never be as good. Instead, and it's always a lot of effort. Instead, I like to embrace the old bread. I do this with a lot of other ingredients. If my cilantro is going bad, I'm not gonna do like a freshly sliced cilantro and put in a salad. I'm gonna try to like puree it or maybe cook it because that kind of cilantro lends itself a little bit well when it's less fresh. When you have stale bread like this, everybody, I don't think that you should be following all those videos that say this is how you reheat bread and make it taste fresh again. Turn it into something else. Make French toast, make croutons, transform it, and don't restore it. Guys, when you turn 60, when you turn 70, you need to embrace your age and wisdom instead of going and getting, going to a dermatologist that'll put a serum on you to make you look 20 years younger. Well, I guess you can do that if you'd like, but you have to embrace the age of the bread. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Here's what we're gonna do, everybody. We're going to soak some garlic and some oregano in some oil to make a garlic oregano oil. The reason that we're doing this is because we don't want the garlic and the oregano in the oven itself. We just want to flavor the oil instead. By flavoring the oil instead, I think I ended up putting my garlic press away. Yes, I did. By flavoring the oil instead, we're stopping any of the solids in the oven from actually burning instead. Okay, so into this little teeny tiny condiment container, I got 1 clove of garlic, just one bad boy. We don't need a lot. It's gonna go into the salad anyways. Just smash it. Excellent. Smash that garlic just to get the skin off. And then I'm just going to go in there with a little knife. Just grab, crappy little knife. We're just gonna cut the butt off of it. One. Excellent. And then all we gotta do, everybody, I love having a garlic press on hand. I think everybody needs to have a garlic press. That's called a bench scraper derby. Chef, do I play D&D? I do not. I have not found anybody that would commit to that with me. Also, that's just too much time. Also, thank you, Mino. Hello, hello, Mino, welcome on in. Hi, 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 hi. Everybody, Mino, we're doing a baked pasta today. Welcome on in. I see that everybody has come into chat. We're doing a baked pasta today. In my oven is my pasta at the moment. Maybe it'd be a little bit naughty of me. Would you guys like to see the pasta? Let me show you the pasta. I'm cheating. I probably shouldn't open the oven at the moment. I just would like everybody to see. Okay, I'm gonna show you my pasta. In that case, you guys will take a second to get in here. We're gonna cheat. I normally don't do this, but let me show you. It has about 20 minutes left on it, so I'm not doing anything too crazy with it. I'm sure and confident of that. Ooh, that's a heavy, heavy sheet tray. Okay, in these little ceramic containers, in my little clay pots at the moment, we're doing a baked pasta. So in here, ooh, actually getting these to come off is really, really difficult sometimes. We have my baked ziti, we have chorizo, we have mozzarella, we have a little bit of sour cream, we have some cilantro in here as well. So we're using a lot of like Mexican ingredients, but we're using a lot of Italian technique with this, right? Actually taking these off is almost impossible. But yeah, they look really, really lovely in there. And so we're just continuing to let them bake. I probably shouldn't have taken it out, but I did that just to show off a little bit. I hope you had a good stream, it's good to see you. Okay, I'm gonna take that and we're gonna just go ahead and put it all, ooh, heavy, isn't it? Take it and put it all back into the oven. I grabbed it in the least ergonomic way possible. Please, other chefs, don't laugh at me. Okay. Also, I do use it at Starby, not she. Thank you. Okay, so garlic. Next thing we're going to do, everybody, we're going to take a little bit of oregano. Okay, a little bit of oregano going in. Because we're going to now make a seasoned oil to then flavor the croutons that we're doing. We do a seasoned oil instead of... Also, Damida, thank you so much for the prime sub. Thank you, thank you. We do a seasoned oil instead of putting pieces into the oven because then the garlic and oregano would just end up burning instead. Okay, so we're going to go in there and now submerge this with a bunch of olive oil. About that much is okay. Lovely. And all of that oil, by the way, the excess oil will go into the salad. The garlic will go into the salad. There will be no waste here. This is just a really, really nice technical way of using this up. Okay. Just take it and break it all up. Excellent. And that's going to be the garlic oregano infused olive oil. Jack, I don't know how to answer that question. Older women, though. Hope this helps. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and quickly rinse off my garlic press one more time. Just get that done, get that out of the way. That too. Okay. So, we need to get my baking sheet set up on which that I'll actually be making the croutons themselves. So I'm just gonna go ahead, take that, put this behind me. I'm going to go ahead and grab my last clean baking sheet. Okay, this bad boy right here. We're going to take a little bit of foil. So, everybody, I want to teach you all something. Is everybody listening? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef, from everybody watching. Is everybody watching? Ooh. Everybody, even if you're looking, even if it's your first time here and you're coming in from a raid, I want to hear a nice, resounding yes, chef. Do not season things on a sheet tray. Do not. You know what I see people do? I see people put a bunch of stuff on a sheet tray, right? Let's say I have my bread here, right? And imagine it's in a bunch of little pieces. And then I wanted to get all of this evenly seasoned. It's an absolute mistake. Here's what you're going to do instead. And I'm going to explain, and I'm going to show you why in real time. Ready for this? It's a very important optimization that I think everybody, quite frankly, should be doing. We're going to take a bowl. Bread itself, the bread by itself, is not going to hold on to the seasoning that we're about to apply to it. We want a nice seasoned crouton. We want a nice seasoned breadcrumb, but by itself, it's not going to hold on to it. It's all going to slip off. We need the oil. So what we need to do is we need to toss it in a bowl with oil and then season it with some salt and season it with some pepper. Okay? So we take this. And now we're going to think about the size that you want. I've actually realized I like a medium-sized crouton. I want something big enough that I can feel it and put my fork through it. But if it's too small, you can't like stab it with a fork. If it's too big, it occupies your entire mouth. So what I like to do, again, this is entirely up to you, right? We're just gonna go ahead and go like this, and we're gonna go like this. Something like that, something like that. Yeah, I think that should be okay. And now, cube it up. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Just go at it with a knife. Just don't destroy the texture of it too much. That's the cubes that I'm going for. And again, we're using leftover bread for this. I don't want to see you making croutons with fresh bread. What I want to see all of you do is buy a loaf of bread, use it for whatever you want it to when it's fresh, and then when it's stale, you transform it into croutons. Okay, so we're just adding all of this into the bowl now. Okay. Into the bowl it all goes. We're not going to try to get like any of these little crumbs in because they could just end up burning, okay? So I want you all to see exactly what's about to go on. I want you all to see exactly what's about to happen. We're going to now take a little teeny tiny strainer. I have it around here somewhere. I've seen it. Where did it go? I have like this little teeny tiny cute metal strainer. Chat, I'm losing it. Chad, I don't know where it is. Is it on the bottom? Where's my little metal strainer? I had it around here somewhere. Did I not take it out? Uh-oh. I really, really would like to get to the bottom of this. I would really like to find it. That would be nice. Chat, where did you put my metal strainer? I have a tiny one. I have a cute one. It's really, really useful for things like this. And then the one moment that I do actually need it, this sucks. Chad, I'm not going to blame you for this, but it might be your fault. Behind me. It is not behind me, Jack. You were not correct. You did not guess correctly. Is it in the dishwasher? I can't imagine it is. Okay, I'm giving this one last look around, and then I'm just going to give up. This will do. This is an old coffee one that we use, but it's fine. Okay, everybody. Little strainer, not the one I wanted, but that will do just fine. Remember my oil, it's been infusing this whole time. Take it and we pour all of it out. We want to just get the oil, but none of these solids. Because these solids could just end up burning. Okay, we want that oil though, because the oil is going to help the croutons to nicely and beautifully fry up. Okay, we're going to just take that. Fine, I'll scoop it up. I'll scoop it up. What was in the oil? This was just some garlic and some oregano. So this is a garlic and oregano infused olive oil. Okay, we no longer need this strainer. I can just take this and put that behind me. Lovely. So now, everybody, here's what we're gonna do. We take the oil and we go ahead and we make sure that it's all nicely and evenly coated. And this is why we use a bowl for this. Although some of the croutons ended up taking all of the oil for themselves. However, we just go in here, we just make sure that's nicely and evenly covered as much as possible. I think we could have used a little bit more olive oil, now that I'm looking at the amount we have, because the goal is for the croutons to some extent to absorb the olive oil so they could almost fry from the inside. We want it to basically fry from the inside. And yeah, Darby, that's why I use gloves all the time, you got it. I don't like washing my hands all the time. It's bad for my skin. We're gonna do a splash of olive oil more. And guys, croutons are supposed to be greasy. They're supposed to basically fry from the inside out. Okay, so a little teeny tiny splash of olive oil more. There you go, that should now be perfect. It's a very absorbent bread. It's just soaking all of it up. Just get it evenly incorporated. Okay. These are nitrile gloves. I love using nitrile gloves. That's what I cook with. Okay. That should now be okay. And everybody, this is why we do this in a bowl and not on a sheet tray. By having it in a bowl, we can then just sort of take the salt that we want, right? Because we want a nice seasoned crouton, right? We can just sort of toss it, keep it moving in a bowl, keep it shaking and get it evenly and beautifully seasoned all the way around the crouton itself. The number one mistake is if you season this on a sheet tray on a flat surface, you can't just shake it around, evenly incorporate everything. The whole thing just becomes a mess. Okay? So this way, you ensure that all of your seasoning is evenly and beautifully distributed onto your potential croutons to be. Okay? And then I'm also going to just get some black pepper in here. My bowl is a little bit too small. It could have been bigger, but that's okay. And that should be enough black pepper. I'm not looking for this to be like super peppery. There we go. And now, let's just go ahead and get this onto the sheet tray. Want a nice big sheet tray so that it spreads out nice and flat. Okay. Just get it all on here. All of it on here, everybody. All the croutons, get it. Distribute it. We have some of these really, really fine pieces, which I'm not like too happy about. This bread kind of ended up falling apart, which sucks, but that's okay. It's all gonna get crispy. And now, this just needs to go into the oven for around 10 minutes. Just make sure that they're all laying down nice and flat before they go in. Perfect. I don't use a vent hood. No, I've never used, mine just kind of sucks. Everybody, I'm just gonna take the sheet tray and I'm gonna throw it into the oven for around 10 minutes or so, and then we'll check on it, maybe give it a little bit of a flip. That's it. That's all you have to do for homemade croutons. You don't even have to do the step of, taking the oil and infusing it or whatever. Homemade croutons are an amazing way to use up leftover bread. I don't like thinking about my ingredients as something like, oh, how do we make it new again? We take it and we embrace it for what it is, everybody. Can I please get a yes, chef? And also, I would like if somebody else in chat give me an idea of, just throw me an ingredient that typically gets old that you don't know what to do with, and maybe I'll give you some ideas of how to use it. Yes, bread heals, anything is good for a crouton besides the actual powder itself. But yeah, if anybody wants to know how to use up something if it's old, just let me know. Old garlic, old eggs. So here's the thing. Old eggs actually make much better hard-boiled eggs, because the older the egg is, the more water it pushes out on the outside. The more water it pushes out on the outside, the easier it is to peel it. So if you have old eggs, not rotten eggs, but if they're old, I would actually make hard-boiled eggs out of them. I think they're ideal for boiling eggs. So that's what I would do. That's an example of embracing it. Slightly old potatoes, that's a little bit tricky, because when you have slightly old potatoes, they tend to get a little bit sweet. Their taste changes, their texture changes. I don't actually have that much experience cooking with old potatoes, but I would definitely not fry it. I would definitely do more boiled applications. Am I a chef in my day job? I am not, no. This is kind of my job, the cooking stream. Hint, hint, exclamation mark, Patreon if you would like. I'm so knowledgeable, thank you. I've been cooking my whole life, but I just started a part-time job as a cooking teacher for a nonprofit charity, which is really, really fun. But yeah, hint, hint, exclamation mark, Patreon if you would like. Okay. Everybody, little recap session. The pasta needs about 10 more minutes, then we'll take the lid off and cook it a little bit longer. We put the croutons in as well. That's going to be for the salad. Let's keep making the salad for today. Everybody, let's go ahead and take a look. These are my cherry tomatoes. Let's go ahead and give these tomatoes a little taste. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. So, typically, what you see me do is you see me take tomatoes and you see me salt them in advance to get rid of the excess liquid. I don't think these need it. These are actually sweet and tasty enough that we're not going to do that with them. If these tomatoes were any more bland or if I felt like they're really watery, we would salt them in advance. We're actually not going to do that with the tomatoes today because I think they're perfect just the way they are. So let's just go ahead and put that behind us. We're going to start constructing a really, really beautiful salad for us today. Okay? So I'm just going to make sure that I have a bowl big enough to accommodate all of my salad ingredients. Something like this will do just fine, it seems. One second, everybody. Just getting another glass bowl out for today. Okay, what about old berries? I mean, you make jam. You make jam out of old berries. You cook with them. You can also just, you wouldn't eat them raw, but that would be the times that you would actually cook with those berries, okay? That's what I would do. Make a jam, make a sauce, make a barbecue sauce. Those are really tasty with those. Okay, chat, we have 1 bell pepper. Okay, I'm getting a lot of questions. I want to move on with the salad. We have 1 bell pepper. This is an orange bell pepper. You can use a red one, you can use a yellow one, you can use an orange one. We're not using a green one because I'm looking for the sweetness of the bell pepper for today. If we wanted a bell pepper to be a little bit more vegetal, we would opt for the green one instead. But the red ones are the sweet ones. And so that's what I'm looking for. So chat, we're going to go ahead and shave the sides. All the seeds are in the center. All the white part is running along these grooves. So here's what we do. We go in here and we shave off the sides one by one. And then you're left with the core that we don't want to use. I know we wasted a little bit, but it's fine. And we'll just go in there and we'll just get rid of the white part. The white part just doesn't have a lot of flavor. It's a little bit spongy. Everybody, so think about the size of the cherry tomatoes. I'm going for something half the size of a cherry tomato per piece of red pepper. I want everything to be roughly the same size for today's salad, okay? I don't want massive pieces. I hate salads that are in massive pieces. I love chopped salads. Chef, do you have any whetstone recommendations? I do not, actually. That is the one aspect that I don't know enough about cooking. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these up into little batons, into these little slices, once we've gotten the planks. You can't bring yourself to eat tomatoes? That's totally okay, I am Breeze. That's all right. Why are you sorry? Why are you apologizing to me? Plenty of people can't eat tomatoes. A lot of people have texture issues with them. Okay, there we go, everybody. We got a nice, beautiful stack of these bell peppers. And so, in order to stop us over extracting the water, we're only going to season it with salt at the very end. And now, we're just going to go ahead and just chunk it up. Guys, I love chopped salads. I hate salads where everything is in like massive, massive pieces. Because when everything is in massive pieces, you just can't get like a big forkful of anything. So, red bell pepper going in. Why am I doing the salad? Because I want to get rid of the rest of my cilantro. I want to get rid of, I have some pickled onions sitting in the fridge as well that I just wanted to use up for today. So it's a really, really nice way to get rid of all of these leftover ingredients that I have. So we're just taking it and we're stacking it up and we're slicing through them all. We're getting these nice, beautiful cubes. We're going nice and slow, everybody. Does anybody have any questions for me? Ooh. Sometimes the pepper skin is a little bit, annoying to work with. What about old rice? Darby, I love doing rice puddings. People also say that you can use like old rice for fried rice. I actually think that's a little bit of misinformation. You need to like really break it up to use it for like fried rice properly. I find that's actually a really, really huge myth, by the way, that you need old rice in order to make fried rice. I would make a rice pudding, something like that. Make a stew, put it in a soup. Also really, really pleasant. Like a pleasant like chicken soup, and like you add it towards the end so it doesn't like overcook. But I love that kind of stuff. How am I feeling right now? Jack, thanks for asking. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm excited for the pasta. That's how I'm feeling. Okay. And let's grab all of this and let's scoop it up and into the bolio it goes. So chat, take a look. Right? We have all these bell peppers. Okay. Old people? That's a good question, Serena. I don't know what to do with old people. Sorry. I thought I knew everything there is to know about food, and I suppose I was actually incorrect. Okay. Chopper slice. I mean, we slice them to get the planks, but then actually it doesn't really matter from then on. Okay. Also, what we're going to do, everybody remember, my garlic and my oregano, we're just going to go ahead and dump that into the bowl as well. I know it doesn't look like much, but because it's raw garlic, it's really, really pungent. Okay, it's a lot stronger than regular garlic. Okay, here's the next step, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get some pickled onions out. This is going to add an incredible amount of acidity into today's dish. So these pickled onions, I've been using these throughout the week. I love having pickled onions. You can do them in salads. You can put them on top of soups. You can put them on chilies. You can do anything that you really want with these things. Pickled onions are incredibly, incredibly versatile. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of chopsticks just so I can pick them up without getting any of the water from them. just so I can pick them up without getting any of like that pickling liquid. I'm just gonna grab a nice, generous bundle of pickled onions. And these are spicy pickled onions. I did these with like a bunch of chilies, so they're really, really pleasant. And before we actually get to even chopping these, my croutons should be finished at any moment, as well as my pasta. So that's enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and put that away. Lovely. Let's go ahead and slap a lid back on it. The croutons are the ones that you really want to babysit. Oh, happy birthday. Everybody in chat. Everybody, I want you all to listen right now. I want you all to give Nikopi a very warm happy birthday right now. Everybody listening. How do I make a good birthday cake batter? It depends. I mean, what kind of birthday cake? You're going for like the American, like sprinkles birthday cake, I mean, I don't know what your intentions are. But, okay. Chat, let's go ahead and take a look. My lovely little sous chefs. Let's go to the oven. Let's look at my croutons. 400 degrees, 10 minutes might be enough. Oh yeah, yeah, that's a perfectly cooked crouton. Nice and golden, perfect. Let's just go ahead and let all of this chill out now. That is also the sign that the pasta is done. Let's go ahead and take out my pasta. I'm actually gonna get another towel this time so I don't burn myself. I've learned my mistakes from past Daramgar. Okay, so I'll just go in here and open this up. And now I'm just gonna grab this bad boy. Ugh. Chat, I'm really, really excited about the pasta. And the last step for it is going to be take the lid off, and then we cook it for like another 15 minutes or so without the lid, okay? So really nice and easy. Just making sure I have a good, secure grip when I go to pick this up. Whoop. Sliding around a little bit. Chill out, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and take the lids off. Make sure that I have a place to put them. I think I'm just going to go ahead and slap them onto like this cutting board. Ooh, it's hot. Guys, look at that. Look at that. Are you kidding me? That's a money shot if I've ever seen one. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh. Oh, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Look at it. Oh, that is gorgeous. Let's go in there. Let me just see. Yep. So you see all that like excess liquid and sauce from like the mozzarella and stuff. That is the purpose of the second baking now. So we're going to go ahead and put this back into the oven and for another 15 minutes and it's going to be done. Look at that baked pasta. Look at that baked pasta. Chat, do we mess around? Do we mess around when we make baked pasta? We do not. We give it love. We give it affection. You want to give this pasta what you wish you had. The way that you want to be treated. That is what we do to the pasta. And now I need to shut up and actually put it into the oven before it cools down. Actually, that would be nice. Come on, Daramgar. Let's go ahead and slap this bad boy back on in. It cooked with the lid off so that the cheese didn't dry out, so that the pasta didn't dry out. And now this is going to be to get rid of all of the excess moisture and to get it a little bit extra crispy on top. 15 minutes, going in. Whew. 15 more minutes, everybody. Be nice and patient. And now, let's go ahead and get done with the rest of the salad for today. If you guys remember, we finished the croutons as well. I'm going to show it to all of you right now. Ooh, I forgot that sheet tray just came out of the oven and I touched it. Here's my croutons. Beautiful. Also, guys, into the salad is going to be the rest of my cilantro as well. So I'm just going to take that and dump that in just so I can get rid of this container. We sliced it up. We got rid of it. We processed it. Everybody, the cilantro, we have finished it up. You would want to double the sauce, Travenoid. You would definitely want to double that amount of sauce. That definitely, I mean, for like 3/4 of a pound of pasta, I'm sure it'd be fine. But for a full pound, twice the sauce. I hope you're all learning something today, by the way. I want to just show you all, you know, how accessible and easy doing something like this at home is. We don't have to get super exact with the measurements. So, bell peppers, my garlic and oregano, my cilantro, and now I'm gonna glove up for this because it's really, really acidic. These are the pickled onions, after all. So they're like sitting there in a bunch of vinegar, and that's bad for my eczema hands. Okay. So all I'm gonna do is I'm going to just take my little pile. I don't want this bay leaf. I do want these chilies. Like I have like those little chilies left over. That's what I want in this. And I'm going to take it, and this, I do want this to be a little bit finer than everything else because I really want this to incorporate into the salad nicely. So I'm going to take it, and again, this part doesn't have to be like too perfect or anything. Just small enough that you can really, really feel it. The reason I want smaller pieces is because they're a little bit spicy. I don't want to like get like a huge hit of pepper or anything. I just want all of this to be evenly and beautifully distributed in today's salad. Okay? So all of this going on in. You can use as many or as little as you would like. Guys, the choice is completely and utterly up to you. I'm going to take a paper towel just to clean off my station. And normally, I really like using like the lid trick to chop up tomatoes, like cherry tomatoes, but I'm actually not gonna be able to do that today because for these tomatoes, for these bad boys, I wanna actually cut them in half the other way. I don't wanna cut them in half to get a flat tomato. I wanna cut them, I just wanna cut them like this, right? You'll see what I mean. And some of them are also like quite big. So this is what I'm looking for, everybody. Gonna go in there. Ooh, that's a dull knife. Oh my goodness. Whoa. Chat, we gotta sharpen our knives again. So something like this, that's what I'm looking for, okay? Because again, I'm looking for the cherry tomato to match the size. Actually, that's fine. I'm looking for the cherry tomato to match the size of everything else. I don't wanna just get a big hit of tomato. I don't wanna just get a big hit of bell peppers. I love chopped salads. You know what I hate? I hate quote unquote rustic salads. I hate salads that are just a bunch of big leaves scattered around with dressing because it's so difficult to eat. How many of you guys have you like gone out to like a restaurant or somebody's made you a salad and it's like big leaves and you're putting the leaf into your mouth and the leaf is covered in like acidic dressing and then it like spreads on your lips and then your lips are then covered in acid and then it finds a little cut on your lips and then you have dry lips. That's a very specific thing that I have just described, but I bet somebody else in chat has experienced this. I know I am not the only one. I know I'm not crazy. Please somebody say yes, chef. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Somebody please relate to this niche experience. Somebody has to. Okay, great. I do think my chat stopped working. Okay. I think I was like looking at my chat on my tablet and it just stopped working for the moment. I don't know what's going on today. Okay, let's get all these cherry tomatoes into the bowl, everybody. Look at the salad. Oh, this salad, look at the colors on the salad. Look how colorful, look how pretty. You got the green and the red. How do I... Nicopi, are you genuinely asking me? Is this a genuine question, Nicopi? It better be. All those tomatoes have now been fully and beautifully processed. I'm curious how my croutons came out. Let's give those a little taste. Nice and crispy. They're almost like a little sweet. Okay, guys, look at the salad. Look at the start of the salad. Just get my hands in there. That's the best way to do it, right? And we're gonna add salt last because we don't want the salt to like pull out and make like the salad a little too liquidy. Look at the salad. Look at these colors. Look at the onions. Look at the tomatoes. Full of flavor. Gorgeous. Okay. Let's think. What else did I want to put into my salad for today? I'm just taking a second to just clean a couple of things up. Get rid of this. Get rid of that. Get rid of one of those. Give me a second, everybody. We are approaching the final parts of the cooking, by the way. We have 10 more minutes of baking the pasta, and then the pasta will be ready to serve and plate, and it's going to be gorgeous. You guys excited for it? I want to hear a nice resounding yes, chef. From everybody watching, I'm talking about you. If you don't think I'm talking about you, I'm talking about you. Cilantro has already been added, Jack. It's already all in there. Thank you for looking out for cilantro, though. He really appreciates it. Go ahead and get rid of this. This is done to me. Awesome. These towels can just actually stay up here for the time being. Go ahead and empty out my waste bowl. Okay. So, last steps. It's gonna be now. I also have some like leftover Parmigiano. I didn't have like enough to actually put into the pasta, but it'll be enough to actually like taste it in something like a salad. So let's go ahead and do that now. So there it is. That's my beautiful, oh, guys, look at the salad. Look how colorful it is, huh? We're going to do black pepper because the black pepper itself, it's not going to pull out any liquid. It's just black pepper. Favorite cheese? Jarlsberg Derby. I love Jarlsberg to death. It's so fatty, it's so rich, it's so delicious. It's my favorite. Okay, bunch of black pepper going in, done. We want a nice generous thing of olive oil. You can add some vinegar if you'd like, but honestly, I don't think this salad needs any additional acidity because it has the pickled onions and it also has the tomatoes. So to me, I think that's going to be enough acidity. I just want like a nice, European style, like oil covered salad. My voice is unique. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's very sweet of you. Okay, now let's go ahead and I have some old Parmigiano Reggiano, my friends. This stuff is not particularly fresh. I just have the littlest bit of it left. Okay, the littlest bit of the rind. So all I'm gonna do, we're just gonna go in there with a microplane. But yeah, you can toss it with like hands or like 2 spoons. The only thing you want to do is you want to make sure you're just not crushing the vegetables. It depends how delicate everything is. It depends on the vegetables you're using, of course. It does look nice, doesn't it? Overrated cheese? What do I think is an overrated cheese? I don't know, like, ooh, I mean, I love cheddar. I love pepper jack. I love Parmesan. Those are like the really well-known cheeses. Save the rind for the soup. I could have put into the sauce, but honestly, I think for like a soup it would be fine. American cheese is not overrated. It has its function. It has its place. Even if it became a little gutted in the last few years, I think it has its place. Okay. I'm gonna just go in there with my glove one more time, and I'm gonna just taste it. It might not even need like that much salt, depending on like how much Parmesan we added. Avocado's delicate. Avocados I would just add last into a salad. But yes, they're really good question. What I would do is I would mix all of the ingredients except the avocado, and then just gently fold in the avocado last. Guys, oh, look at the salad. Look at the salad. All right, now nicely coated with all of that Parmesan, homemade croutons too. This is a really good salad. That's really good. Again, still not seasoned with any salt at the moment. The only salinity from this is the Parmesan itself, and then we'll add a little bit more Parmesan on top. The Parmesan is almost like dissolving in the oil and water and becoming like its own little dressing in here. That's a good salad. You're getting the sweetness of the bell pepper, the sweetness of the cherry tomatoes, the acidity of everything, some of the pickled onions in there too, the Parmesan, the herbs, the garlic. That is a really, really nice salad. Wow. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Guys, do you think, I think I did a good job with that. I'd like to hear a nice good job, chef, please. That would be nice. I'm gonna go ahead and get my croutons transferred over just into a different container for safe storage. Just grab a little container, grab a little guy, and just pop it on in. Does anybody have any questions? Everybody, we are in the final stages of the cooking stream today. Today was fairly ambitious. What time is it? 7:12. Actually, this is a typical, time length for the stream. I feel like, all I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna take my croutons, I'm gonna just throw them in here. Once they've like cooled down enough that they won't like steam up and make each other soggy again. But these are my croutons. I don't think I'm going to include those croutons. No, they're good. They're good too. I thought they would taste a little bit more burnt, but that's a perfect crouton. Actually, yeah. I think I overcooked those. It didn't bake as evenly. But you can see, like, almost like the little, like, layers inside of the bread itself. It's pretty fascinating. It's really, really, like, soft. Like, guys, I want you to actually see this. Look at these breadcrumbs. This is the bread that I used itself. You can see all of, like, the little, let's just say we take something like this. You can see all of the little layers inside of it. That makes this, like, a really tender crouton. Like you saw how much it was falling apart. It's a really, really tender crouton. Okay, that's all been done and all been taken care of. gonna go ahead and throw this away, throw my waste bowl. I don't need my waste bowl for anything anymore. Everybody, that's it. We have done basically everything. The pasta has 4 more minutes to cook. This is a really good time to ask me any and all final questions as I just do my last couple stages of cleaning on up. Anything else that you want to say to me? And then we're gonna, of course, plate it. We're going to taste it. It's going to be delicious. I don't want you to leave because I want you to see how this pasta comes out. I'm gonna just take a sneak peek. Oh, chat, that pasta, it's a good looking pasta. That's an incredible looking pasta. That's one of the best looking pastas I've ever made, hands down. And I do not say that lightly because I have made a lot of lovely pastas in my time. But that is one of the best, hands down. So chat, do we have any questions? Anything else that you want to say to me before we pull it out, of course, and then we begin eating? Wow. Nikki, thank you for the sub. I think my chat tool today is not functioning properly. Oh my God. Yeah, my chat tool today has just been broken. Chef, recommendation for a good substitute for leafy greens. You hate leaves? I mean, cabbage. That is my recommendation to you. Cabbage, spinach. If you hate leafy greens, just make a different kind of salad. There is no substitution for it, per se. Yeah, I think my chat lately, it's like my chat tool. I gotta fix that because it's not been functioning that well. I don't know what's going on with it at the moment. Okay. Just seeing what else I can put away behind me while I have a second. I'm just also going to wash off my knife and stuff because I want to clean as we go, everybody, because we're cooking in a home setting. And if you're cooking at home, whenever you have downtime, don't sit around doing nothing. Clean, and then when you're all done cooking, you're going to see and be like, wait a second, that wasn't so bad. A lot of cooking is being able to juggle your active time and your passive time. Your active time is when you're like standing over something, mixing it. Your passive time is when you're waiting for something to be done. Is rice and eggs a good meal? That's what I had for lunch, Yefra. I eat rice bowls at least twice a week. I have like some leftover ingredients. I had like my pickled onions. I had some cilantro. I made a rice bowl. You can absolutely have eggs and rice together. Would Chef rather live in a world without knives or in a world without bowls? Oh my God, Tarina, that is an awful question. That is the worst trolley problem, as in I don't want to answer it. It's like both of those, I cannot imagine actually cooking without. So now that you have put me in this situation, I don't know what my answer to you would even be. Everybody, it is time. He is about to arrive. Our baked pasta. It has a few seconds left. You ready for this? I prefer carbon steel, House of Leaves. Chat, it is time. I'm really, really excited for this. This would be like a good time to like play like Sephiroth's theme or something. I feel like that would be like very fitting at the moment. Sephiroth's theme would be like really, really perfect too. It's got 7 seconds left. I'm just gonna turn off the timer. I'm going to make sure that my towels are ready and perfect. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to show you. I'm excited for this. Really, really excited for this actually. I think it's going to be pretty gosh darn incredible. Just folding up my towel in a way that I won't burn myself when it's time to take this out. Folding up my towel. Lovely. Chat. It would be so funny if I dropped it right now. Chat. I don't think you understand how serious I am about my pasta, chat. I don't think you understand what I'm talking about here. I don't think you understand what we have done. What we have done together. Look at it. Look at that pasta. Look at it. In fact, really quickly, I'm going to do something very dumb. Just stay with me for a sec. I'm doing that for a thumbnail later. I'm sorry that I lost the music. I'll get a different scene for that next time. Chat, look at that. Look at that. The crispy pasta on top, bubbling away in that cauldron of sauce. Are you kidding me? Do you know how serious we are in the kitchen? We do not mess around. Look at it, everybody. The chorizo, the tomato sauce, the herbs, the mozzarella. It is full of flavor. It is creamy. It is delicious. That is a baked ziti if I've ever seen one. That looks pretty gosh darn incredible, I think. Chat, I think it's time for us to play today. I think it's time for us to play. Oh, look at that. Okay, so let's get rid of all of this stuff. We don't need any of this. This is all done its job for us today, besides the cheese. The cheese is just gonna be a nice little garnish for everything. Okay, cheese is just gonna be a garnish. Let's take my towel and wipe off my station one last time. Everybody, oh, I can hear it bubbling away. I can hear it sitting in there. It just smells amazing. It looks amazing. It looks pretty darn incredible. So, really quick, plating theory. Everybody, here's my number one rule for plating that I see people break all the time. But this is my own theory that I have developed and understood over time. Do not put things on the same plate unless they are meant to be eaten together at the same time. My salad has no place being on the same plate as my baked pasta. So we're not gonna have them go on the same plate together. So really quickly, let's go back to the stove, everybody. Now, ideally, you would wanna let this sit. You would wanna let this sit for maybe like 20 minutes or so, or 10 minutes at least. We don't have time for such things today. Let's go ahead, let's grab my wooden spoon. Oh. This is a very difficult vessel to actually get anything out of, but that's okay. Okay, all right, that's it. That's it. Gorgeous. Oh, and like the stretchy, delicious mozzarella cubes and the all throughout. That is incredible. That is a really, really, really special thing of pasta, I think at least. Maybe less incredible now that we have taken it out of its container. Why not eat it right out of the ramekin? Because that is way too much food for me. But you could theoretically just eat it in the ramekin itself. But everybody, one last thing that we gotta do, one last thing, is we just gotta top this off with a little bit of extra cheese. But yes, that would just be too much food for me. A little bit of extra cheese right on top. And then a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. Very Olive Garden core, isn't it? Just like raw black pepper on top. We've done it. That is my take on a baked pasta. And this is what I like to call another incredible exercise in the epitome of what is supposed to be home food. Let me tell you why this is home food. I looked at my fridge. I saw I had leftover chorizo. I looked at my fridge and I saw I had leftover cilantro. I had all of these ingredients that I wanted to get rid of. I had leftover Parmigiano Reggiano as well. So I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I want to do a baked pasta today. I also don't really want any salad right now. I'll have some later. Pasta. Right. Is this authentic Italian? Absolutely not. Also, Darby Doll, thank you for the reminder to actually probably put a lid on these. Thank you. Is this authentic Italian? Absolutely not. But we took really good technique. We had a bunch of ziti. We went ahead and we soaked it. We didn't need to do a boil. We did not need to do a full boil. We just soaked it in a bunch of hot, salty water. We took chorizo. We cooked it in a touch of olive oil. We took all the fat out of it. We took the chunks of chorizo out. We then, in that chorizo fat, in that olive oil, cooked down onions, we cooked down garlic, we cooked down some chilies that were going bad and I wanted to get rid of. We added in a bunch of tomatoes and we let the whole thing stew down. Spicy, salty, full of flavor, full of chorizo fat. That was my tomato sauce. I took some mozzarella and I cubed it up. I had a bunch of cilantro, I added it in. We mixed it up, we added some sour cream for some richness, and then we let it all bake, took the lid off and let it bake again. That is an incredible, delicious baked pasta. Cheers. Oh. Holy shit. Oh my God. What? I'm gonna say right now, in my life, perhaps I have made over 25, maybe 30 baked pasta dishes. This was the best. This was the best baked pasta I've ever done. Baked Zitis or lasagnas or otherwise. And it was so simple. We got it done in 2.5 hours. I mean, that was like, you know, wow. Wow. And we don't buy canned tomato sauce. We make it from scratch. We made these from some cheap plum tomatoes. And no, the sour cream, it helps to give it that creamy texture. I can taste it a little bit. It's very pleasant. I think the sour cream was an incredible addition. Oh, guys, get some of the chorizo on there. That is spicy. That is flavorful. The texture of everything. That is one of the best pasta dishes I've ever made. That is the best baked pasta dish I've ever made. And I do not say that lightly. I love making baked pasta dishes. It's one of my favorite things to do for a group of people. Oh my God. How many stars out of 10? 11. That is an 11. That is a perfect thing of pasta. Sour cream in a baked pasta was the most based spur of the moment decision I've ever done. That was so good. It gave it that creaminess, it gave it that richness, it let the mozzarella melt. I really like the addition of sour cream that I did. Wow. Wow. And guess what? I think baked pasta is a superior format to other kinds of pasta in a home setting. Because think about it this way. You make a pan of pasta, you want to do it the right way. You add pasta water, you do a sauce, you make the sauce. In 10 minutes, that pasta goes cold. You can't put it in your fridge. Ooh, the chili got stuck in my throat. Not again. Guys, pasta at home, I would say, is sometimes a flawed format. It's a flawed format. It doesn't reheat well. You always have to transform it into something else. It's never as good as it is the next day. Baked pasta dishes like these reheat beautifully in the oven, in the microwave, whatever we want. Baked pasta dishes are the ideal form of pasta, especially in a home setting. Everything that we do here is home cooking. I'm not teaching you restaurant dishes. I'm teaching you home dishes. This is the kind of a thing that you have in a fridge and you reheat. This is the kind of a thing that you're making if you're feeding a family of people. Baked pasta is the way to go when you're at home. It is optimal. It is the optimal format. I'm gonna have another bite. Oh, guys. And it stays nice and warm because it's all compacted, especially if you're using a ramekin. This is the best kind of pasta, I think, to make in a home setting. Without a doubt. Not a doubt in my mind. And the flavor is so unique. You know, this really, really is a blend of, you know, we're using Mexican ingredients, we're using oregano, we're using cilantro, we're using really good quality chorizo with a lot of Italian technique that was put into this. This is an incredible, really unique dish. And that's what I want you to do. I don't want you to replicate this exactly, but I want you to look at my techniques. I want you to see what we did today and take inspiration. I want you all to take inspiration. But everybody, I have stuff to do tonight. I gotta be out of here in just a moment. We're not gonna rate anybody. Once again, if you haven't already done so, exclamation mark Patreon. If you would like to support what we're doing, if you would like to support the show, I would like to keep this free for everybody, but I would like, if you have a little bit of extra money, please try to sub on the Patreon. The salad's behind me, audio movie. I just gotta run. So exclamation mark Patreon, scroll down to the about section, join my community Discord if you want to interact with everybody. Jack is really active in there, Nagatano. Exclamation mark Discord as well if you would like to interact with the Dara community. There's also a private Patreon only community if you would like as well. Everybody, next stream is going to be this Sunday. Today is currently Friday. This Sunday, 5 p.m. EST. If today is the 1st, it's going to be March 3rd, 5 p.m. EST. Thank you so much, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful, safe, lovely rest of your Friday nights. I'm going to see you Sunday, once again, 5 p.m. EST. Be safe. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate the support that every single one of you show every single time. If you're new here, it's lovely to have you. And let's get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Let's stop dragging this. Bye-bye.